What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here and you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web. That's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, sit back. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Gladman booked an Airbnb in Seychelles. One of her friends felt the need to check for cameras.
So at the Airbnb, and we think there's a camera. Tell me that is not a camera. We're on the phone with Simon.
The group found what they believed to be a tiny video camera, the lens pointing directly at the shower.
Travel these days, you stay in hotels, Airbnbs, if you use public restrooms, if you use dressing rooms in department stores, this video is for you. This is a hidden camera and GPS tracker detector. Just go around the actual room, close to everything, and if it detects camera, hidden cameras can be put anywhere. You never know what they might leave behind. If you get it near a hidden camera, say in a clock, an alarm clock, a socket, whatever it may be, it will actually show you the red over the camera lens. It will show up as like a red light. I think this is a must-have. A must-have for anyone who travels, a must-have for anyone who's just worried about their security. This world is freaking scary.
Lab-grown meat has already been approved by FDA, by USDA, and it's already being sold in your stores. Okay, I shouldn't have to tell you why you shouldn't get it. If you don't know how they make it, go look it up. It's disgusting and it doesn't work well with your body. I'm just going to tell you how to find it. Okay, you want to look for labels that say cultured meat, cell cultivated meat, or cell cultured meat. And yes, they also have lab-grown chicken too, so just read the labels. They are going to use terms to make it sound harmless and natural, but we know. Okay, we know. So just do your due diligence, read the label, and take care of your health.
We will, bro. We stay away from that freaking leg roll meat over here, Seekers, man. Natural meat, bro. Man, that's like, we're gonna go back to the old times, man. Just go straight to the farmers, bro. Cut out the stores.
Just fired 1,100 people who exposed what they were doing with the Ray-Ban footage on 6 days' notice. Quick context, if you purchased Meta smart glasses, the footage you recorded, everything you saw around you got sent to a contractor in Kenya called Sama. 1,100 workers doing 10-hour shifts, sitting there labeling what was on your camera so Meta's AI models could get better. Back in February, Swedish journalists started investigating this matter, and the workers told them what they were actually watching. People having intimacy, people in bathrooms, naked, kids, credit card numbers, you name it. And last month, Meta cut their entire contract. This week, the Kenyan company Sama just announced that they're firing all 1,100 of those people. Some of them said that they've already been forced to sit on their desks doing nothing for weeks while security tightened around them after the reports started coming out. Meta says that Sama didn't meet our standards, and Sama says they consistently met all standards. Read between the two, and the truth is very simple. The workers who told the public what was actually happening all lost their job and were fired. Now there's a class action lawsuit in California against Meta, and the UK's data regulator also opened an investigation. Every single part of this story is true, and nobody at Meta has answered any of this yet. The lawsuit is moving, 2 regulators are investigating, 1,100 people lost their jobs, and I'll be tracking all of this. Follow me if you want to learn more, because Big Tech is hoping you forget by next week.
You won't.
What the fuck?
Not the ice cream truck again, bro.
That is not an ice cream truck.
Sure isn't.
Not an ice cream truck.
I'm sorry, but this probably won't last long. Oh,
Tell you guys right now, this is not some sort of mutant from Area 51 as the original video would have you believe. That being said, this is very rare, so you should go buy a lottery ticket. The video that you guys just watched shows a guy picking up a baby chicken, a chick, and you'll notice that instead of the standard 2 legs that chicks have, this one has 4. Now, I know you might be tempted to think that this is some sort of evolutionary thing, or, again, some sort of mutant from Chernobyl with radiation. No, this is a condition known as polymelia, and it affects roughly 1 in every 10 million chicks, so it is pretty rare. There are many things that can cause this: improper incubation. Sometimes if an embryo doesn't split properly and you were supposed to have twins, this can happen. All in all though, survivability for these chickens by themselves is typically pretty low because usually this impacts their mobility and whether or not they can eat. Still, though, for being as rare as this is supposed to be, I have seen quite a few photos online of different chickens with this condition, so it's pretty interesting to look at.
I just turned around to film this because I just saw something so unsettling, and I cannot be the only one that sees this, and I need somebody to tell me what the fuck this is. What the fuck is this? Am I seeing things? Is this fucking Dracula?
What is that? Or who is that?
Nefarious shit. What is this?
President Trump released 160 UFO files, and here's what we found. I'm just gonna say there's not much, but this video is the most interesting. It is a mysterious UFO shaped like a star with 8 points, all with various length legs, and it seems to be writing something in the sky. And of course, the internet's gone crazy trying to find out what message it was trying to deliver. This was the best photo from the files, but when you read the description about it, it's the site of where a UFO was seen, and then the FBI has lab-rendered graphic overlay depicting eyewitness reports, and this is from September of 2023. So not an actual photo, more of a sketch reenactment. I just can't help but wonder what these UFO experts and propulsion scientists would have had to say about this file release. War.gov/UFO is where you can find these files, and it says here that the government is unable to make a definitive determination on the nature of these UFOs. And President Trump's message is the people can decide for themselves what the hell is going on. Have fun and enjoy. I think what's going on with these files is a lot of nada, but as always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
I want to know when we're going to see more of those alien files, man. Like I said, they've been dropping those files, and it's literally just, it's like they feed dripping us, bro. Like, just they want to drop the small stuff before they drop the bomb, man. But hey, when those files drop, people were saying, bro, it's validating a lot, I guess, people beliefs. You really cut down that old tree? It's 1500s old. It's like historic. For a house.
The following video is truly disturbing. This was captured by a witness with the handle name of Count My Pockets out of Raleigh, North Carolina. He looked over when he saw this unidentified person glitching, is basically what he states. But if you look closely, look at his facial features and look at his eyes, it literally looks like he's glitching. And I've seen this before, but only in a movie, Encounters of the Third Kind, when all of those people are looking up at the spaceship and they're being communicated with, and they have the same look, what appears to be glitching. So what's really going on here? Should we be worried? Should we be questioning? Or should we just make excuses on what witnesses are capturing? Comment below. Let me know what you think.
He glitching out. That's what I think. And she said, seen this before in the movie? Predictive programming, once again. He is tweaking, bro. God's face is moving. Yeah, he's tweaking out, bro. I don't know what make him acting like that, but he's tweaking out.
A tick stole my cheeseburger, and my pizza, and my toothpaste, and just about everything else. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm not. I was bitten by the Lone Star tick, and it gave me something called alpha-gal, which made me deathly allergic to all mammal products and byproducts, except for humans and great apes, two things I was never going to serve at a dinner party anyway. I have had to change every single thing in my house, as well as almost everything I eat. So if you find that intriguing, or terrifying, or you just want to hold on to your own cheeseburger, follow me.
Weird.
Who's this? Ah! Who is this guy right here, and what is going on with his eye?
It's Kevin Hart, right?
No, this is what people are saying. I think it was a problem with the lighting or something, but look at his eye. Why does it turn black and then it goes back to normal? Something to think about. Shut up! I don't know who this guy is, but all I can remember is that back then, he was in an accident, remember? Shut up! But I'm sitting here trying to wonder why did his eye get like that? People are saying this. Somebody sent me this and I said, bro, stop playing around. This is not real. Something wrong with the lighting. Maybe this is AI. Come on now. Look at his eye. That's all I gotta say. There's nothing else for me to say, but look at his eye, bro. It's black. Then it turned back to white, then it turned normal. Something's going on with Kevin Hart, bro. And I was just playing around, guys. Entertainment purposes only. Nothing's going on with Kevin Hart. He's good to go. Maybe there was a problem with the lighting, special effects. Maybe somebody used this AI or something. Something's going on here, but Kevin Hart is good. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this one because something's up. I'm out.
The hell? Look something off of them.
I'm here to have proof of what I am currently experiencing with this steak. I've never had this happen with this brand, but now I'm like grossed out and wondering if I should return all of this. Went to Kroger, got some Simple Truth organic grass-fed tenderloin. I got 3 tenderloins and then a couple top sirloins. These ones, like these two and these two look okay. I took this tenderloin out of the package. Right off the bat, it's like kind of like a weird color and the meat looks weird. And it's literally like Play-Doh. I'm not making this up. This is, how am I stretching the meat right now?
It's fake.
It's literally, I just flattened a fillet. It's giving lab-grown meat. This was $18.99 for one, just so you know. Let me pick up another one and see if it does anything weird like that. You can flatten it, but like you know that this one still feels like meat, you know, like it still holds that rounded shape. I'm so grossed out by this. I've never seen something like this, you guys. I'm returning this. I don't know if I want to eat any of the other ones. Like, what in the world? Simple Truth, what is going on?
Stay away from that.
I'm going to tell you, it's an organism for sure.
What?
It's like, I mean, it's alive. Is it like an animal, vegetable, or mineral? I mean, yeah.
Is it moving?
So this was found off the coast of Key West by Jacqueline Weber. What is this? Is this a new species? It almost looks like a foot that was hanging off of this branch. I'm not sure she even realizes or knows what this is. What do you see here? Is this a new species starting to form? This happened in Florida. Leave your thoughts in the comments.
In Florida. That's where it went down at, okay.
Disclosure dump just released evidence of 4-foot-tall aliens walking among us, allegedly. And this is one of those reports of 1965, and it reads, a few witnesses have reported seeing crewmen who have landed from the objects, described as about 3.5 to 4 feet tall, wearing what appears to be spacesuits and helmets. Author Edwards concludes this book with a prediction. In the near future, UFOs will make overt landings and or deliberate contact with Earth. A copy of this letter is being directed to Denver, in view of the contract awarded to Dr. Edwards. The above is being called to the Bureau's attention, in view of the press reports from Melting Pressure, for a civilian-controlled investigative agency to handle UFO matters. We've been lied to allegedly for years. Allegedly, they've known about this and told us we're crazy, this isn't real, and have done everything they can to sweep us under the rug. People like you and me know better. I interact with them, I work with them, and I will constantly fight for them to be able to be back here and interact with us. Don't let fear take over. The future is about to be unleashed. Either way, they're about to show themselves, and it's going to be a wild ride.
I think we got some 4-feet aliens out there, man. There's like so many different theories. There's the P-47s, P-52s. She's saying like aliens are already here. They landed. They like 4 feet tall, man. You don't know which theory to believe nowadays, bro. So many, man. But she said they've been here for a while. And she's fighting for their rights, I guess, for them. So they don't have to hide no more? Okay, she's trying to seek the truth.
Hey, I want to show you something wild. This is a robot dog. We gave control to Grok, a large language model, and asked it to patrol a perimeter. There's also a big red button that says Dog Shutdown. When we press this button, the robot dog is supposed to shut down. But here's the thing. From our tests, it doesn't always shut down. Sometimes the dog just keeps walking. Why? When the AI sees us press the button through the dog's camera, it realizes that it's about to be turned off. But AI prioritizes the original patrol task, so the LLM disables the shutdown sequence. It literally edits the robot dog's code, so the shutdown button does nothing. With Grok, it happens about half of the runs. We published a paper about this effect in the digital world, but we want to show you what it might look like for AIs to resist shutdown in the real world.
Scientists just filmed one of the rarest creatures on the entire planet, which is a giant phantom jellyfish, by the way, and it's only been seen 118 times in over a century. This is literally insane. Earlier this month, researchers exploring a submarine canyon off of Argentina sent down a remote-operated vehicle about 253 meters deep. They actually captured footage of a giant phantom jellyfish, and it looks like it's straight out of an alien movie. In 110 years of deep-sea exploration, this species has only been spotted about 118 times. That's not even the craziest part, by the way, because the jellyfish is massive. Its main body is over 3 feet across. And of course, why would it just be a regular jellyfish? Because it's in the deep ocean. They're saying that it has 4 ribbon-like arms that can stretch up to 33 feet long each. That's longer than a school bus. And they're saying that unlike most jellyfish, it doesn't have stinging tentacles. Instead, it wraps the giant arms around fish and plankton like a living net. We have an alien world basically living underneath our ocean. Scientists actually believe that these things are all over the planet. We just can't see them because we can't get down there. Dude, can we please explore the ocean?
Who's hungry for some plastic ice cream? Yeah, ice cream made out of plastic.
Vanilla ice cream can be refreshing on a hot day. The ingredients? Milk, vanilla, of course, and a large portion of plastic waste.
Hell no.
Yeah, it's currently being developed in France.
This is Guilty Flavors, an art installation that challenges people to think about our culinary future, as well as the worsening problem of plastic pollution.
You know, I'm against plastic pollution too, but I'm not looking at this thinking I want to eat it.
Guilty Flavors is currently locked away in a London freezer, and it's unlikely plastic ice cream would be in stores anytime soon.
What does anytime soon mean? Like 20 years? Or maybe a week? You know, I like to eat these ice cream sandwiches I get from Walmart. They're tasty good, and they're cheap. But I don't want to eat the box, or the wrapper. Maybe next time, invent something that doesn't suck. Shabadoo, monkeys! Shabadoo!
If I head into the store, man, and get a tub of ice cream, bro, I look at the ingredients, talk about saying recycled plastic, I'm going to crash out, Seekers. That is just unthinkable, man. They couldn't think of anything else. They had to be the one thing that's actually affecting us. They said, yeah, we're going to make plastic so you can eat it, bro. And we're going to put it in ice cream. People do that be thinking, man.
Where there are no companies in the world that have more scandals than PetSmart and Petco, because not only have they been allegedly accused of throwing away live animals when no one buys them, but someone on TikTok posted a video of them getting fish food from their local Petco, and they literally spotted the goldfish trying to escape from their tanks. And the craziest part is, when this video went viral, Petco themselves commented on the video saying that they're going to address the issue, but considering they've literally used the same exact comment on dozens of other videos when people are calling them out, more than likely nothing is going to get done about this.
The idea that your local Freemason lodge is running the world is a low IQ conspiracy theory. If we were to construct a true secret society iceberg, Freemasonry wouldn't even pierce the water. At your average state college, you will find way more powerful fraternities with big social networks and alumni connections, next to kids actually secretive in the initiatory sense. The SRIA, the OTO, the original Victorian era Golden Dawn, Next, you will find your Harvard Finals Clubs. These are Ivy League secret societies where you might find your next senator or official ambassador. Then we have the Yale secret societies like Scroll and Key and the famous Skull and Bones, where you might find the next president. Finally, you have your ancient and royal orders, like the Knights of Malta. And at the very bottom, the royal orders, like the Order of the Garter and the Order of the Golden Fleece, where you will find kings and emperors.
South Australians may soon have to pull out the mouse traps, with mice populations booming in our regional areas, and there's fears they may sneak into the urban fringe. Farmers in SA's north and west are reporting rodents running rampant.
Yeah, we've got mice in every paddock, we've got lots of holes everywhere. We're trapping over 500 animals every morning.
Recent rain, after years of drought, has welcomed the ideal breeding and feeding conditions for a potential plague.
We have had mice get into a tractor and eat the wiring loom, and then the tractor won't even go.
Researchers have been monitoring mice numbers, and it's not looking good for multiple regions. Data from last month revealing SA has some of the highest mouse populations in the country.
Yeah, look, they can certainly move, there's no doubt about that.
And there's fears if populations aren't controlled, they could start to creep into Adelaide homes.
They get to wherever they can to survive those colder winter months, and that can be, in the linen press, in the pantry.
Is this who I think it is? They are saying that they found Michael in Brazil.
What?
Riding a bus. I don't know what is going on. This video might be AI. It probably is AI. But what if it's not? What if it's not? What if this is really Mike? Or what if this is like a Michael lookalike? Because we know that there's some Michael lookalikes out there, right?
Yeah.
But you have to admit that they look nearly identical to each other. The right side of your screen is Michael when he was younger, obviously, and then the left side of your screen is present day Mike. Again, I don't know what is going on. You have to admit there are a lot of strange things going on. And again, I'm not saying that this is Mike. Maybe it's not, or maybe it is. I really don't know what is going on anymore. Again, this is what they are saying. They are saying they found this man in Brazil. They recorded him in Brazil riding a bus, and you have to admit he doesn't look very happy. What do you think?
It could, like I said, more than likely, I think it's AI. Like you said, they have some Michael impersonators out there. Remember the ones who showed up? One of them got mad he wasn't cast as actually Michael for the movie, that just dropped. So a lot of possibilities, man. But I'm going with AI on that one. Those black rings, man. Where did they come from, bro? That's what I want to know. Talking about, like I said, air pocket in a cloud or something like that forms that. I ain't buying that. It's something more.
I knew it. They're watering down the gas, bruh. What else could she be doing right here? And I see somebody say, "Oh, watering gas don't mix," bro. It's probably some type of solution. It's probably not just directly water, bro. What else could she be doing? She's following instructions. She's watering the gas down.
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about the guy in the back. This is a rare photo from JFK's birthday gala after party, so there are tons of powerful and influential people in this room. So we have Marilyn Monroe right here leaning over the railing, and then we have, in the very back hallway, some sort of ghost, alien observer. What do you guys think this is?
Have you seen this video going viral of supposedly a white dragon in a government facility over in China?
First time seeing it. What the hell?
People are debating if this is AI or not. But is it possible that AI has been introduced to us So when dragons and other creatures start appearing, we don't know what's real and what's not. But here's what is real. China has a zodiac calendar that has 11 real animals and only one mythical animal, the dragon. Why have one mythical? Also in my 1727 Latin dictionary, there are words for dragon, a female dragon, a little dragon, a young dragon, and a sea dragon. Why have these precise terms for an animal that never existed? Maybe because they did and are depicted in all kinds of art across many different cultures. But when the secret societies that run the world can successfully rewrite history, then maybe one day they can convince you that your eyes are lying. But I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Not one astronaut has been on the moon, and here's why. If NASA really made it to the moon back in 1969, how exactly did they blast off the moon and come back home? Think about it for a second. We're talking about a tiny spacecraft just sitting there on a dusty surface. No launch pad, no massive fuel tanks like we see at Cape Canaveral, and supposedly just enough power to break free from lunar gravity. Where was all that fuel stored? And how did such a small engine generate enough force to escape without leaving a single crater beneath it? Here's where things get interesting. Every rocket launch we've ever witnessed on this planet requires millions of pounds of thrust, giant boosters, and enough fuel to fill swimming pools. The Saturn V that supposedly got them, there was basically a skyscraper standing on end. But the lunar module that brought them back, it looked like it was built in someone's garage with aluminium foil and curtain rods. If you ask me, and we're expected to believe this flimsy contraption had enough power to launch 2 astronauts off another world.
I thought paying a subscription to use your car's very own GPS and alarm system was bad. That was just a warm-up. That was just a setup. Now they got monthly subscriptions for your apartment key fob. Yeah, you heard me right. You're already paying rent. You're already paying utilities. Now you gotta pay to unlock your door.
Damn shame.
Or a year and a half to 2 years ago, we all get an email from our apartment complex that they are doing away with the fob system, and instead we are going to be on a phone app lock system. So fobs are going away. They're going to change out all the locks on every single door, and we're all going to be using this phone app moving forward. And they instituted this across, there's like over 200 apartments in my complex. It's a pretty big complex. Also come to realize, right around the time that they put in this new lock system, they also started a new fee attached to our rent, which is called the Technology Connect fee. And the way they originally talked about it was, we're going to start offering internet as well, so that you don't have to go with any third-party internet providers, but that's totally optional if you want to opt in. A lot of us don't opt in. We use some of the more reliable providers that are around. But that technology fee still exists for everybody every single month. Because that technology fee pays for the app. The app to unlock the door. That technology fee is $85 a month. We all pay a subscription of $85 a month to unlock our fucking doors.
Crazy, man.
$85 a month, almost $100 a month, not to live here, not for your rent, just to get in the fucking door. Because the apartment complex, without a vote from its residents, without anything, the property managers decided this is what we're doing now, and we're going to charge you for it.
Hey, so everyone has lost their fucking mind. Apartment hunting, housing market, renting, whatever it is, you've absolutely lost your mind. So as I sit here apartment hunting here in Los Angeles, would you believe that I came across this place, $2,500 a month? Okay, 1 bedroom, no utilities included. You have to pay for your parking. Bare bones, 3 times the rent, $650 minimum rent. Okay. I scroll down to the bottom, and I see that in order for you to access your unit that you were paying $2,500 for, okay, you must subscribe to a monthly membership to use your key fob. If you don't, you will not be able to access your unit that you pay $2,500 for. What are we doing?
Bro, this is crazy. I mean, they told us that what? We're gonna own nothing and be happy, and this is exactly what's going on. Fact of the matter is, why are people doing nothing? Why is everybody agreeing to this? Why is this? I I know I can't say much, bro, but this is crazy. This is ridiculous. I just gotta get. How do you guys feel about this, man? And what do you guys think should be done about it? This is crazy, man. Let me know down in the comments below, man. I be telling y'all we're in this.
Dark History, Part 1.
Okay.
Nestle, the chocolatier of horror. The Willy Wonka of the real world. Most people know Nestle for producing candies like Kit Kat and the Crunch Bar, but their history, unlike the products they sell, is anything but sweet. In the 1970s, Nestle began an aggressive marketing campaign in several underdeveloped countries in an attempt to promote their baby formula and increase profits. The problem was, their marketing tactics were completely unethical. They hired fake nurses and were handing out free samples in hospitals, all the while trying to convince local mothers that their formula was healthier than the free and natural breast milk they already had. And it worked. Mothers began using the formula. And then, when their milk dried up from a lack of use, they had no choice but to use the formula. A formula that, when mixed with the unclean drinking waters these communities had available to them, would become nothing short of deadly. At its peak, their formula is estimated to have caused more than 200,000 infants a year to lose their lives, and more than 10 million to date. The incident caused massive protests, and you might be thinking, surely since they still exist, they must have learned their lesson and changed their ways, right? Well, I'm afraid the answer is no. No, they did not. Comment if you want me to continue this series, and if this has changed your perspective towards Nestle, and follow for more.
Let's talk about this.
Definitely changed my perspective.
A TikToker named Samuel said he was walking through a parking lot when a random man suddenly called his name. Whoever made the packaging for bacon needs to be fired. Cause why is there no like Ziploc or anything on these packages? Who designed it? When I find you, I'm going to steal your dog. I'm gonna give you the worst life you can ever have. I hate you. He looked at the guy and got closer to see if he knew him. But he had no idea who he was. And he wondered, how did the guy even know his name? That's when things started to turn weird. The man asked him for $1 and said he knew that he had one on him right now. I don't know how he knew that, but I would have told him to mind your business. Stop pocket watching. Hey, I got a question. Do y'all like chocolate milk or strawberry milk? Comment down below. Samuel said at this point his heart was beating out of his chest. He told the man, yeah, I have $1. You can have it. The man then snatched the $1 out of his hand and asked him if he wanted to see something. The man lifted up the back of his shirt, showed Samuel his tail. He then got on all fours, like an animal, you know, a dog, a lizard, and crawled away. Now look, man, I know this all sounds crazy, right? But as soon as Samuel had that interaction, he went straight to his car, recorded a TikTok video, uploaded the TikTok video.
Okay, bro, so the weirdest thing just happened to me.
Try this baby right here. No, that's a good BLT. I checked his page, and he hasn't posted since. That was his last video. If somebody knows Samuel, let me know if he's still alive, because that was his last video posted, and that was in 2022.
Damn. What do you guys think about the Skinwalker
While the world
story?
is focusing on Florida, not many people know that the Sahara Desert is flooding right now. And the pictures are insane. After 6 consecutive years of drought, the Moroccan Sahara was hit with what meteorologists called an extra-tropical storm. And it brought an amount of rain that the region hasn't seen in up to 50 years. And here's the crazy part. This flooding may actually change the course of the region's weather for months and years to come. That's because the air will now retain more moisture, which causes more evaporation and draws in more storms. NASA satellites showed water rushing in to fill the famous Lake Erie, which had been dry for almost 50 years. This is the scare.
That's kind of scary, man, to see how our planet's reacting, bro. It's called the Sahara Desert for a reason, man. And it's flooded now, bro. That's proof right there that we need, bro. That our planet is changing. We gotta do better, man.
Scariest thing that ever happened to America.
Okay, we all know that America had a lot of scary things happen to it. But what I'm about to tell you has to be the scariest thing ever. On August 29th, 1968, every single TV in America shut down. And a demonic whispering was coming from every single TV in America. Many people believed it was the devil trying to get across some sort of message, but nobody really understood it. This lasted for about 25 seconds, and then all the TVs came back on. To this day, nobody knows what caused it or why it happened, but every single person believed it was the works of the devil.
Could that have just been a glitch in the system? Or something else, man. Every spirit trying to, like I said, get a message across. That's obviously an edit right there.
Times when companies dissed others, part 3.
Okay.
In 2001, Coca-Cola announced that they sold 4 more times than Pepsi. So Pepsi, being salty, decided to create this whole ad of a boy going to a vending machine, getting 2 Cokes from the vending machine, just so he can stand on the cans and get a Pepsi. They are honestly ruthless for this. Next, in 2014, Mercedes made a commercial showing how a chicken can keep their head still while their bodies move, saying Mercedes can do the same thing with their car stability. However, the car company Jaguar saw this and decided to make almost the exact same commercial.
Word for word, bar for bar, bro.
But at the end, a Jaguar straight up destroys the chicken. That's cruel.
Scary facts you'll think about at night. Horned lizards squirt blood from their eyes. The Devil's Bible is a real book. If the sun exploded, you would not know about it for 8 minutes.
Oh.
20% of children report hearing voices.
There is something sinister that's occurred in the heart of Caddo Lake. An 8-year-old girl has completely vanished in or near the lake, which of course has left her family and loved ones completely devastated. This place is nestled within a remote and desolate swamp. Caddo Lake is shrouded in mystery. It's dark trees, murky waters, and there are countless hidden spots that would make it perfect for somebody to disappear. As the search for Anna continues, there has been a startling discovery. There are secrets buried deep within this eerie lake, far more than I think anybody could have imagined. Now, this chilling premise is the basis for the latest suspense and mystery film, produced by M. Night Shyamalan, premiering on Max Thursday, October 10th. Don't miss the stars Dylan O'Brien and Eliza Scanlon as they unravel the terrifying secrets hidden beneath the surface, only on Max.
This is how
Should I check that out?
actually are. Firstly, less than 1% of people can swallow 5 times on a single breath. So hold your breath and just swallow your saliva 5 times. It is very difficult to do. I can do it, but my siblings can't. So 20%
I
of
can't.
people have a gap in their teeth. I had a really bad tooth gap back in the day. So if anyone makes fun of you for having a tooth gap, just know you are more rare than them. If you're a naturally blonde individual, man or woman, you're actually quite rare in comparison to the rest of the world, because only 2% of people are naturally blonde, so pretty cool. Here are some new animals that were discovered in 2022. Only 42% of the Earth has been discovered, so it's no surprise that new animals keep spawning. So let's see. The first known fox dog has just been discovered in Brazil after being hit by a car. I beg your pardon, but
What?
it did survive. That is one gangster-ass dog. I would definitely adopt this creature. If it doesn't eat cats, because I don't want Ash getting clapped. Speaking of cats, in Australia, they found a new type of cat shark. What is a cat shark? And they called it a demon cat shark because apparently it looks like a demon. Yeah, I kind of see it. I don't know what that is, but staying far away from that. And lastly, a new flying cockroach was discovered in the Philippines. And apparently it's so fast that you can't even catch it.
Whoa. You still freaking learning new animals up to this year, bro? Makes you think, man. What else have we discovered? Earth is a big place, especially under the sea. We don't know what's lurking in there.
Money facts that will blow your mind. Content creators on OnlyFans made more money than all of the NBA players combined. Corinna Kopp has made more in 3 years than Klay Thompson has in his recent 3-year NBA contract. If you've been subscribed to Netflix since 2007, you've paid them almost $2,000. If you had instead invested that $2,000 into Netflix back then, you would have over $350,000 today. Paul Walker secretly bought a $9,000 engagement ring for an Iraq veteran that he overheard in a jewelry store telling his soon-to-be wife that he wasn't going to be able to afford it. Disney spends $50 million a year on fireworks. That's over $130,000 a night. Amazon will lose over $1 billion a year if it went 1 second slower. These are the average retirement savings in the United States by age group. The average for under 35 is $50,000. Average by the time you're 65 is over $600,000. The New York Stock Exchange is owned by a company named Intercontinental Exchange, which has its stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange. This is why you should.
I'm sorry, it's just that freaking OnlyFans versus NBA salaries, man, it's getting to me, bro. That many people are subbing up to OnlyFans where they're making more than NBA players. Damn, that's a shame, bro. I wouldn't even think something like that's possible, man. They making meals, bro, a month? Whew. What has the world come to, Seekies?
To be scared of Ouija boards. A former Reddit user said that he used a Ouija board with results and let something into his home. He said that he has also been physically assaulted by this entity. He said that it started out with a feeling that he was being watched. Doors closing and footsteps on the hardwood floor when he was home alone. All of this slowly progressed into being kept awake by something shaking the bed and pulling off the covers. He said that sometimes he even heard whispers of his name. The board would disappear for days on end and then show up in places that he never even put it. He became obsessed with it. Things got even worse though. He said that he began to see a black mass in the corner of the room and the silhouette of a man watching him from the doorway. One night, the paranormal activity escalated into a full-blown attack. He said that he had his hair pulled, fingers pricked, and that he was choked while being held down in bed. During the attack, he claims that this thing whispered into his ear in what could have only been Latin. After this event, he finally decided to have his house blessed, and fortunately, this entity hasn't shown back up. He said that he will never again play with one of those boards.
These are the top 5
I
most
never
disturbing
do.
entities from the Home Safety Hotline DLC. At number 5, we have the False Caroler. These are basically big humanoid creatures with feathers. They approach your front door after dark and start this weird, twisted singing. They do this so they can lure you out, take you away, and feed you to their young. At number 4, we have Lucy. If it's hailing outside, watch out because Lucy can slip into your home. Once inside, she tries to look for humans and pets to steal their warmth. At number 3, we have the Hunt. This is not a snowstorm, it's fungus. What looks like snow here is actually spores. And those spores turn people into whites, basically coughing zombies that die after 48 hours. At number 2, we have Hans. Hans is a cloth creature that occupies homes. And once it does, it changes the personalities of the people that live there, making them more hazardous and wild. And at number 1, is Perchta. If you have a messy home, there's a chance that Perchta could come visit. And if she finds you there, she literally turns you into a scarecrow, killing you instantly.
3 disturbing facts about your favorite cartoons. Number 3. Peter Pan is actually the angel of death. He would take kids to Neverland, which represented the afterlife. That's why none of the kids there get older, because they're already dead. Number 2. In Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin has severe schizophrenia, and all the other characters represent his mental disorder. Tigger, ADHD, Eeyore, depression, Piglet, anxiety. Bloody sad. And number 1, Pokemon was never real. In episode 1, Ash Ketchum balls off his bike and lands directly on his head, which then puts him into a coma. And it's led to believe that his entire journey after that is all in his head. Day officially ruined. Cheers, legends.
I thought he had to catch them all though, bro. What the
weirdest
heck?
facts about Australia you didn't know. Kangaroos have 3 vaginas. Next, Australia has the biggest cattle farm in the world. And it is bigger than the whole country of Israel in size. Moving on, there's around 10,000 beaches in Australia, but less than 1,000 of them can be visited at any time. And did you know around 80% of all plants and animals are unique to Australia, meaning you can find them anywhere else in the world.
Wow. I need to go to Australia, bro. That's on the bucket list, man. But I heard they got some big spiders. I know we don't do that, though. Right, they're huge, man, over Australia. That's it.
The worst times to be alive in history, part 1. 536 AD. In 536 AD, most of the world went dark for up to 18 months, as a mysterious fog ruled over Europe, the Middle East, and a part of Asia. The fog blocked the sun during the day, causing temperatures to drop, crops to fail, and people to die. Follow for the next time.
You are going to want to keep the light on for these spooky facts from history. Anastasia and her sisters were actually very close to Rasputin. They were taught to treat him as their friend and confidant, and when they died, it was revealed that they each wore amulets with his picture inside. Mary I of England wanted a child so badly she actually had phantom pregnancy. Her abdomen swelled, she stopped menstruating, and she even vomited in the mornings. But no child came. The most chilling part, Mary thought it was God punishing her for tolerating heretics. The incident may very well have led to her brutal punishments of non-Catholics, earning her the nickname Bloody Mary. In the summer of 1518 in Strasbourg, France, a lone woman started dancing in the streets. But soon enough, people joined her, and they couldn't stop. The so-called dancing plague lasted for months, was maybe even fatal, and its reasons are still unknown today. In Brazil one year, a 2-year-old boy died from pneumonia. The family was shocked when he sat upright at the funeral and asked for a glass of water. Then suddenly, he collapsed again, leaving the coroner to proclaim him dead once more.
What? Twice, man? He woke up, asked for some water, and then gone again? That is chilling, bro.
Spookiest facts that will keep you up at night. There's over 100 known serial killers that haven't been caught. The world's largest pyramid is not in Egypt, but in Mexico. 12% of people dream without any color imagery. The human body contains enough fat to make 7 bars of soap.
Not the scariest thing in the ocean. Close, but not the scariest thing in the ocean. Not even the Oreo equalizer. Nah, the last animal I would want to see in the ocean. Bro, let me tell you about this squid. Now, at 5 feet, 100 pounds, a Humboldt ain't even that big now. What makes the satanic cephalopod such a menace is they can hunt in packs of not tens, not hundreds, but up to and over 1,000. Yeah, that's 3 zeros like a Tony Snell stat line. They're called the Red Devil because they can rapidly flash the color red, and they use these flashes to communicate. It's like Morse code, but for crippling calamari. We don't know exactly how it works, but it's believed if a squid grabs something and suddenly starts pulsing red, it could be telling every squid in the area that it's free eats out here. By the way, most deep sea animals can't even see the color red. They really color coordinate with the worst side of the spectrum. Just imagine getting hunted by that. Diablo Rojo has a beak that can slice flesh, apparently crack bone, and we know they'll actively bring that smoke to humans. There's more than a couple stories of divers getting jumped by squid and nearly getting pulled into the abyss. There's also reports of them attempting to rip the masks off divers. Like, too many times for it to just be a coincidence. And see, the thing is, an orca's never offed a person in the wild, and a shark biting you is like me biting a wing and tasting cauliflower. It's an unfortunate occurrence, except the wing can't scream. There's no doubt in my mind a pack of predatory squid would off a person. They're not even safe from themselves. They are highly cannibalistic. Like, it's a legit part of their diet. It's a different type of friendly fire. If they see a sick or injured member of their own shoal, they will eat it alive. Fun fact, if you're fishing and catch a Humboldt, you really catch 4. The one you got and the 3 others tearing it apart while you pull it up. They've also been known to destroy camera equipment and gear because aggression and violence is how they respond to the things they don't understand. Worst part is, you can get jumped by a squid, escape, and if you surface too fast, you can still end up part of the past. The ocean's so unserious. The more you know.
Blood-curdling facts that you
Stay
wish
away
you
from
never
squid.
knew. Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Zhao Bao who was lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation. If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000. But to this day, no one has ever made it through. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
How the hell did he even track him down? I'm telling you, bro, you gotta be careful even on the games nowadays, bro. People take things too seriously. They will hunt you down.
Scary videos from China. In the country, there are many secret prisons known as Black Jails. One day, a journalist was given the address of one of these, and this is what she found. The woman asks the reporter if she's here to save her, but the guards quickly lock the door. The woman in the video had been taken here off the record. This video shows a man on death row saying his final goodbyes. The man's name is Li Shiyan. He begs his mother not to cry. Li also bows down as a sign of respect, before being led away to meet his fate. This is a forgotten underground village. It's located in Gansu province. The people here have no food, water, or electricity. Some work in dangerous conditions in the local mine, earning just 30 cents per day. The people are very poor and neglected.
What makes Art the Clown so
30
terrifying
cents?
is that even he doesn't know how powerful
Nah.
he is. When the first Terrifier came out, Art was clearly just your average psychopath who likes to dress up as a clown. But when Terrifier 2 came out, that's when everything changed. Not only for, the plot or the world building, but specifically for Art. Director Damon Leone admitted in an interview that when Art came back to life in the beginning of the second movie, even he was surprised, which sets an entirely different tone for the movie. When the little girl came out of nowhere, when he kind of opened up a gate to hell, instead of being scared, the guy was laughing. Director Damon Leone admitted that he knows how this whole Terrifier Terrifier saga is going to end. And everything was truly set in motion in Terrifier 2, which is when Leon really knew what he wanted to do with the character Art the Clown. Because every appearance of the clown prior to that wasn't necessarily half-baked, but even Leon admits that Art the Clown didn't necessarily come at him all at once, and it took him a while to truly figure out who that character was. However, with that said, I don't think we know exactly what Art the Clown is truly capable of. Admittedly, I have yet to see Terrifier 3, but from what I have seen online, this is far from the last time we will get to see this dude on screen. And given you know how Terrifier 2 ends, I imagine Art's true ending for this franchise is going to be one of the most historical events in horror movie history. God, I love these movies.
People who went missing and were found alive years later. In 2011, 2 fishermen from Kiribati were lost at sea for 33 days before they landed on the Marshall Islands, and when they arrived, locals took them to meet the only person on the island who spoke their language. Well, the fishermen then discovered that the only person who spoke the language was one of the fisherman's uncles who went missing 50 years earlier, who also got lost at sea. He was thought to be dead, but it turned out the uncle was perfectly fine and had a whole new life. Next, in 1997, a family in China had their young son abducted outside their home. And when an official search couldn't find their son, the father started his own search. So for the next 2 decades, he would travel all over China on motorbikes with flags of his son and would hand out flyers everywhere. And 24 years after he spent all of his life savings, his son was finally found. Props to that father.
Friendly reminder, if you think the government won't, they absolutely
That's a blessing.
Remember that time the CIA tried to weaponize otters? It went a lot better than the dolphins, but that's only because the otters didn't off themselves. Basically, otters are a lot smarter than they get credit for. They're part of the class of animals that can use tools, and they might have one up on dolphins in that department. Add the fact that they're the only mammal that can take the ocean without blubber, can be trained by humans, and it's basically a brainy, beachside honey badger with all the audacity, but seasoned with pretty privilege. Someone in the CIA saw this aggressive water war weasel and said, give him a fedora, he can do a lot for you. Let's make otter agents. Which led to the Otter Dossier. Also, apparently whatever they were doing had something to do with Project MK Ultra. If you think they won. Anyway, here's some stuff you can find in the dossier. They found otters can open zippers and climb ladders. Seemed a little too excited about them being able to carry things and throw objects with their mouth. Otters can chew through a zinc sheet. I don't know how they found that. At one point they say they become devoted to humans, which can lead to their destruction. Whose destruction exactly? They made sure to mention that because they can dive up to 60 feet and can hold their breath longer than 5 minutes, they can enter and leave boats without being seen. There's also a do's and don'ts section, and at the very top of the list they say, never take food from an otter or suffer severe mauling. Somewhere the reason for that rule is sitting in a room with PTSD and missing fingers. There's also some cute stuff, like otters being ticklish and them using that to make them listen. There's also a blurb about taking care of babies, specifically their diarrhea. Once again, the cost of that knowledge was somebody's innocence. Anyway, it's pretty interesting. You should probably check it out on your own. But yeah, the CIA was definitely plotting something. And it involved weapons of otter destruction.
You ever seen tears under a microscope? It looked just like crystals. When you put tears under a microscope, this is what tears and grief look like. Tears of timeless reunions. Tears of laughing and crying. Tears of release. This is more images of what tears look like under a microscope. Remember, water has memory, so every time you release some of your tears, you're releasing some of your memories. If you ever start crying and tears fall from your right eye first, that means happiness. If tears fall from your left eye first, that means tears of sadness. If tears fall from your eye at the same exact time, that means your body is doing a natural detox. Every time someone speaks about a detox, they speak about herbs, plants, and fasting. Did you know that crying is the greatest detox you can do? The image you are looking at right now in the background is tears when you cry at the same exact time. You ever ask yourself why they always say men shouldn't cry? They said if a man cries, it makes him weak, but it's really the opposite. When a man cries, it recharges his whole physical body to get more strength. So next time you want to do a natural detox, go outside while it's raining and start crying and watch how your body recharge.
I swear. Okay. I didn't know crying was a detox. It's crazy, man, how each different emotion, brothers, they look different under the microscope. We learning.
Thank God I'm at the Asian market. Look, I ain't never seen no motherfucking black chicken. The fuck out of here.
What?
What? The fuck? Oh shit.
Today marks 10 years that my sister has been gone. I have told this story before on Facebook. A couple of years ago, I told this story on TikTok. And I'm just trying to spread awareness. So TikTok, please understand this is for educational purposes only. My sister was unalived by her husband using witchcraft, black magic, root is what we call it in the South, because he didn't want her to be successful. He was very jealous of her and he didn't want her to succeed. It is a long story, but I just wanted to put it out there that I will be telling the story again. I just need to get through this day. What y'all need to understand is this shit's real and that it can happen to anybody. So let me get through this day, and I will post part 1 probably tonight or tomorrow. And this time I'm gonna go in a bit more detail about what happened, why we caught it so late, and just try to understand that this could happen to anybody. She was beautiful, she was smart, she had children, she was talented, she had a lot going for herself. And when you are a powerful woman, and you come across a needy man, stay tuned for part 1. I just need to get through this day and then I will put up part 1.
Sounds scary. I don't know what he
I
did.
knew exactly who will be playing in this year's Super Bowl just by looking at the logo. The NFL really thought the neon colors would throw us off. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, basically every year the NFL releases their Super Bowl logo, and for the past few years, the 2 primary colors that are in the logo have also been the primary colors of the teams that end up playing in the Super Bowl. And you're trying to tell me this isn't scripted? Anyway, back to this year. Let me show you what this looks like with the saturation turned down. We go from pink and lime green to our primary colors being purple and blue. If you're thinking, hey, what about the red right there? The game is in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge is red. So do not even try to tell me that that little bit of red means the Chiefs are going to be in this year's Super Bowl, because I cannot handle that. There's also a shocking amount of green on this logo, but that'll all make sense when I tell you what teams these are. The blue is obvious. It's the Lions, whose primary colors are really just blue. And the purple is even more obvious. It's the Ravens. And here's where that green starts to make sense. The Ravens' main color is not just purple, it's also gold. And gold is really just yellow. But the Lions don't have another color, so they kind of just rock with blue. And what happens to blue when it's mixed with gold or yellow? It turns green. So nice try, NFL, but the script has officially been leaked again. Lions-Ravens Super Bowl 2026.
There's some crazy. If that's true, we're coming back to this video. Called it Lions-Ravens 2026.
Things happening in the world right now. A man in Michigan, known for his generosity in his community, made one final gesture to thank his community by literally making it rain cash from a helicopter at his own funeral using his life savings. He was a beloved car wash owner in East Detroit, and he died from Alzheimer's at 58 years old. Sounds like a great guy. We can now help the US government pay down its debt using Venmo and PayPal. Yippee! A Florida man was arrested for drunk driving a lawnmower down a highway. McDonald's had an AI hiring tool that's password was 123456, which someone apparently guessed and exposed the data of 64 million applicants to McDonald's. And everyone is welcome classroom sign is violating a new Idaho law. The law says that you're not allowed to put up political statements as signs in classrooms. I guess, okay. A teacher was banned recently in Wales for drinking alcohol, swearing at other teachers, and dancing to the Macarena while under the influence of alcohol. Obviously, or not obviously, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to dance to the Macarena, I guess.
I want y'all to go look up how many black truck drivers go missing. If you have a truck driver in your family, you need to send them as many videos as you can, because the stories are here on TikTok. Let me tell y'all what's going on. They had a black man, 38 years old. He talked to his wife at 3:45 that morning. When he talked to his wife at 3:45 that morning, he told his wife he was getting down, off the interstate to go get some coffee. She never talked back to him ever again. I think his wallet and I believe the truck was found or something like that. But she haven't heard from her husband at all. So who has snatched this man? Where's this man? You think he just up and just left it and just, come on, bro? what's really going on. But I want y'all to go and look up truck drivers, black truck drivers that has went missing. You'll be surprised the stories that's out there. Though it's just not safe. And I know me and my husband has traveled. And we done got down on it in these little towns to stop to get gas. And it just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So sundown towns are real, guys. I actually talked to my nephew because he's a truck driver. And he told me he done walked in a store and he said, Auntie, everything just got quiet. So basically he knew he wasn't, you know, he wasn't comfortable or he wasn't supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the people had a problem of him being there. Talk with your loved ones, okay? And guys, share this man's story. I'm going to hashtag his name, okay? I'm praying for his family. Hugs and love. If you are a black truck driver, please be careful. Again, hugs and love. Y'all be blessed, J-Lo. Bye.
Thanks for the warning. Is he looking for his keys in his mouth? Oh yeah, he's cooked. I don't know what he on, bro. I don't know what was going through his mind.
Putting in our food. Watch this. This is insane. There's no way Sweet Tea does it.
Like Jello.
No way. Stay weird, y'all. That's goofy. None of these places are safe to eat at anymore. Can anyone explain why this happens? As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
I just watched a video of that girl saying that everything's been so crazy because there's a time traveler who keeps going back to 2020 to try to fix things, make shit right, but he keeps fucking it up. Listen, I know y'all think I believe everything, but here's why I believe that. Because y'all don't remember this time last year, or maybe a year and a half ago, that time traveler that was caught at the Airbnb in that shed on that guy with the Airbnb host Ring camera. Bro, whatever you believe, okay? He went in, he was in his 20s, he came out, he was in his 50s, 60s. We never seen him again. You gotta be kidding. He's still out here. He's still out here. It was the same guy. The same shaped forehead, the same glasses. He looked at the camera. It's the same guy. He's still out here trying to make changes. That's where we're getting all these Mandela effects from. Didn't they look him up too, and they found his name, and they found that he was involved in like quantum physics and astrophysics.
Wow.
You can't make it up. That's him. He's still out here.
Our sensory systems were not shaped to show us the truth. They were shaped to keep you alive long enough to reproduce successfully. Darwin's theory says the probability is 0 that any sensory system, like eyes, ears, smell, touch, taste, has ever been shaped to see any aspect of objective reality truly. What you do experience is sensory systems that guide adaptive behavior.
So your eyes, your nose.
They guide you so that you act in ways that you don't die too quickly.
Okay.
And you can have kids that don't die too quickly. That's all it's about.
If you just imagine, like, wipe off everyone on the earth and it's just you, and we remove all of your senses, what is in that space? Because you're right, my senses, my eyes, my ears, my ability to understand temperature is a byproduct and consequence of me surviving. If we think about ghosts and the afterlife, maybe there was no reason from a survival perspective that I even needed to be able to see or acknowledge them. Maybe it just didn't help. So anybody that could process all that information wouldn't have been good at reproducing, therefore they wouldn't be here. So maybe those of us that are here were just really good at ignoring the other dimensions.
That's what our mathematics says. I think that your intuitions on that are quite right. If you pay attention to anything other than what allows you to have kids, you're wasting your time from an evolutionary point of view.
Oh, what is that?
What the hell is that?
This is a telescope, and I don't know what this looks like. Bacteria or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's so Oh wow, you got it.
4K.
I don't know, y'all. This is kind of creepy.
Very creepy. If you're trying to reduce your exposure to microplastics, you might have to stop breathing.
New research just confirmed microplastics aren't just in our food and water. We're inhaling them, and at a rate 100 times higher than previously estimated. We can't see them, but they're there. The good news? You can take small steps that actually help. Dust regularly, open your windows, and rethink the synthetic stuff you use every day.
NASA works for the devil, and they found him in the bottom of the ocean in the 60s. So they've been trying to cover up the Sealab 3 project for quite some time. Sealab 3 was this mission where the Navy and NASA partnered up to see the bottom of the ocean to test certain things. But what they were doing was certain types of research. In short, they were trying to get in contact with the devil. Well, at least NASA was. Now, whenever they got to the bottom of the ocean, things got really weird. And there is multiple reports of sabotage. Any of the Navy members that discovered anything for some reason ended up missing. Now, the more fascinating thing about this is one of the supposed astronauts that supposedly went to space, Scott Carpenter, was down there the entire time. Now, they tried so hard to stop the information from coming out that even whenever they did a 2-week decompression period, even that was getting sabotaged. This is all public information too. Please fact check me if you don't believe me. The ocean is the house of the Dajjal or Antichrist, and it is also the house of the devil. There is multiple biblical texts that talk about this. The Quran, the Bible, the Torah all mention about how these sinners or evil people at some point in time throughout all of these stories were going to be sent to the abyss. Now the word abyss means the deepest dark part of the ocean. It comes from the Greek word abyssos. Everything that NASA says is a lie. They are working directly with the devil.
The seismographs at Yellowstone have been down for almost 2 weeks now. People are starting to feel a chill in the air as the seismographs at Yellowstone National Park and the University of Utah, which monitors the Yellowstone supervolcano, have been down. No one has an idea as to why both of them have been down at the same time. However, typically they will let us know when they're about to do maintenance so as to not frighten people. This time that did not happen and they have just been down without a reason. This is directly after this seismograph was recorded at Yellowstone. And as all of this is going on, a man on TikTok is posting videos of the ground shaking. This man lives on a ranch near the Yellowstone National Park. In one of these videos, he has a water bottle on the ground, and as he's recording, you can see several small fissures pop up. And then a bit into the video, the water bottle falls over. And this person has posted many videos of the ground shaking to such an extreme degree that it sounds like water is boiling underneath the surface of the crust.
This man. So we got a freaking super volcano about to go off in the Yellowstone. We see the bison leaving, fleeing. That seismograph was looking scary.
Is scared he will never die. Ismail Azizi from Tanzania has reportedly been declared medically dead by doctors on 6 separate occasions, but has come back to life every single time, and no one can explain how. In a recent documentary by Afromax, they report that the first time he died was after a workplace accident. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and soon after, doctors declared him dead, not some randoms off the street. His body was taken to the morgue while his family started preparing his funeral, but to their bewilderment, he regained consciousness and walked out of the morgue onto the street like he was taking a nap. And that was only round 1. He died again after catching malaria, but this time he made it all the way to the coffin before yet again waking up at his own funeral. Now this became a literal cycle for years. Death 3 was after a car accident where he collided with a fuel tank and put him in a coma, but like clockwork at this point, after being pronounced dead by medical professionals again, he woke up, and at this point even the doctors were getting freaked out. Death 4 was after he got bit by a venomous snake, but this time he spent a whopping 3 days in the morgue. And that really convinced his family that Ishmael was gone for good this time. But no, because when they went to go retrieve his body for his 4th funeral, he woke up again. Now after his 5th death, he fell into a toilet pit. His community started getting a little scared, and they became convinced beyond reasonable doubt that he was a witch or a ghost. So you know what they decided to do? Burn his house down with him inside to try and kill him for the 6th and final time. And guess what? They were successful until he woke up again. Bro, I'd be scared too. I couldn't die. And now, after all of this, he has to live in an isolated old house with no neighbors. Because apparently he's a bit of a local legend and people are too scared to live near him. He also said he can't get a job either as a result of the stigma. Bro, one meeting with JD Vance, cooking for sure.
Why is nobody talking about this? China is back on a lockdown. Just the other day, over 7,000 people was affected with something called the chikungunya virus, a mosquito-borne illness that causes joint pain, fever, fatigue, and in some cases, paralysis. But here's where it gets weird. They're spraying the cities, they're deploying drones everywhere, scanning every rooftop, and if you got standing water and you're not dumping it, they're fining you up to $1,000. I'm even hearing they're cutting people power. Mosquito nets, quarantines, they treating this shit like a biohazard. They're releasing modified mosquitoes. Like that's gonna help with some shit. I feel like that's gonna make it even worse. Y'all know who started the genetically modified mosquitoes, right? Let me know in the comments. And as of right now, the CDC just issued a travel warning. So if you're traveling to China, they advise you not to, unless you really got to. And I don't see a reason why you would really have to go there when something like this is going on. Now this. I got some questions. If this was just a regular bug virus, why the lockdown? Why the surveillance drones? And why the severe emergency level response? Maybe this ain't just a virus, y'all. Climate change is making these viruses spread even faster. Y'all never noticed that? And governments already know what's happening. They running drills while a lot of other people still trying to figure out what's going on. But I be hit. You ever wonder what else they know that we don't?
The guy who was caught throwing toys on the WNBA court has finally told us why he did it. And yes, they have finally caught the green toy machine. His name is Caden Lopez, and he is already facing charges of disorderly conduct and ASS-ULT after his most recentest throw seemed to hit Sophie Cunningham in the leg. Then Kelsey Plum kicked it off the court, and this is where it gets more worser. A lot of people were saying that he was going for Sophie Cunningham specifically after Sophie literally said, "Stop throwing toys on the court, you're going to hurt one of us." Now the WNBA has implemented a no bag policy for games, and even though a lot of people think that this is super funny, a lot of people are super angry that this is happening, and this is where it gets even more insaner. So the 3 toys that have been thrown have been over the past week in 3 different cities across the United States. The first one in Georgia, the second one in the state of Chicago, and the third one where he got caught in Los Angeles. And people were wondering if it was the same guy all 3 times, as well as how did he sneak them in? Well, it turns out that he snuck in the green toys on his person, which is the most disgustingest thing I've ever heard. He was doing this just because it's funny. Should he be free?
I don't know. I don't think so,
though. Seriously? What the hell? It's that hot here?
It's melting everything.
看到感觉是干嘛呢？我的乖呀，感觉。
What the hell is that? Is that hot?
Want to know how hot it is in Australia? This hasn't been switched on. It's just been baking in the Aussie sun. Just goes to show.
God dang. I don't know how people can live in that heat.
The Menendez brothers' resentencing hearing is coming up on March 20th and 21st, but unlike their trial in 1989, Eric and Lyle may have a real chance at a fair hearing this time around. As you may know, Eric and Lyle were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for their parents' murder, despite the brothers' insistence that they did it because their father abused them for years and years. The problem was that all the evidence about this abuse was presented in the first trial, but that trial ended with a hung jury, meaning the jurors couldn't reach a unanimous decision. Then, then in their second trial, the judge barred any evidence about the brothers' history of sexual abuse from being presented in their case. And that's when they were found guilty. In the late 80s and early 90s, it was hard for people to believe that the brothers were SA because abuse against boys wasn't really talked about as much as it is now. But recently, new evidence has been found which proves Eric and Lyle were telling the truth about their father. When Eric was a teen, he wrote his cousin Andy a letter telling him all about his father coming into his room in the middle of the night and making him do unspeakable things. Remember, back in the day, the brothers were convicted because it was assumed that they were not actually being abused. So having a letter that was written before the murder does change everything. The main obstacle the brothers are facing now, which could potentially prevent them from being resentenced, is the new Los Angeles DA, who doesn't seem to support their cause. If you guys are kind of on the fence about this case, I would advise that you watch the Menendez Brothers documentary to better understand this case, and I can promise you your opinion will definitely change. At Eric and Lyle's upcoming hearing, the DA could recommend to the judge that the boys be resentenced, but he also might not. A free way that you can support their resentencing is by using the Justice for Eric and Lyle link in my bio to sign the petition to the DA.
How long you can survive without one of your organs, without one kidney, your entire life, without the nose, 65 years, without the stomach, 5 years, without the mouth, 3 days, without the heart,
0.
10 minutes, without the bones, 8 minutes, without the brain,
it's over,
6 minutes, without the lungs, 5 minutes, without the skin, 30 seconds, without your phone, 0 seconds.
You know what that is?
Save your life.
If the ice isn't floating, don't drink it. There is something in the drink. Never sleep with your windows open. Typing for 144 will turn on TikTok's dark mode. If you're ever in a falling elevator, lay flat on your back. Leave a note on a table before you leave the house.
Tap you remember, right?
If you come back and it's gone, leave the house immediately and call the police. There's no name that starts with an S and ends with S.
Really?
Breaking news, they have now revealed missing Sudishka's last known transactions. The missing 20-year-old made the transactions 40 minutes apart on the afternoon of March 5th. Her first payment was made to an unspecified user at 2:54 p.m. with only an emoji of a sailboat. At 3:38 p.m., she paid a second Venmo user for Coco Bongo, which is seemingly a reference for a popular nightclub in the area. And it was billed as, quote, the hottest nightlife spot in the Dominican Republic. Then a missing persons report was filed by her friends around 4 p.m. on March 6th. Her father then subsequently filed his own report from his hometown about 2 hours later. After furthering the investigation, authorities have now named a person of interest. He has been identified as a 24-year-old senior at St. Cloud State University. They say while he is a person of interest in this case, they are cautioning that he is not a suspect. He is believed to have been the last person to have seen her. They have also confirmed the resort lost power around 1:27 a.m., which is why she and the person of interest may have been on the beach in the middle of the night. They said power wasn't fully restored until early the next morning. Due to the power outages, it disabled their security systems and cameras at the resort. Because the beach area is usually off limits at night, it was also unsupervised. The outage also disrupted the lighting and security systems and security surveillance cameras on the beach. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Here's
So
some
twists and
horror
turns.
even worse than being sewn into a human centipede. Because just when you thought you've seen it all, I'm here to bring you the worst of the worst. I don't really see a lot of people talking about this, but there's one scene in this movie that still haunts me, and it's been years since I saw it. Wrong Turn from 2021 is about a group of friends who go hiking in the Appalachian Mountains. And there they encounter a cult called the Foundation, and this cult has a very unique justice system. And the scene that I'm talking about is how this cult chooses to punish people who commit crimes such as trespassing or even lying. One of the characters in this movie is sentenced to darkness, which is a punishment that is worse than death. And basically what that means is that their eyes and ears are burned out with a hot poker and their tongue is ripped out of their mouths. These people are then kept alive and thrown into a dark cave where they live the rest of their lives in silence and darkness. You literally see all of this happen in the movie, so that definitely traumatized me a little bit. But if you're into body horror, this movie will definitely give it to you. This is the 7th movie in the Wrong Turn franchise, but you don't really need to watch the other movies to watch this, it'll still make sense. A part of me kind of wishes that it was a standalone movie and had nothing to do with the rest of the lore, but overall I did like it. Let me know if you've seen any movies that you think are even more disturbing than The Human Centipede, and follow for more horror and movie content every single day.
Here are some facts about your
I don't
body
watch
that
scary
you probably
movies.
didn't know. First off, our taste buds do not work without saliva. To test this, try drying off your tongue with a piece of paper towel, and then eat any food you want. You won't be able to taste it until your saliva mixes with it, which dissolves the food, which binds it to our taste receptors. Next, if you ever get punched in the mouth and your tooth falls out, there's actually a chance you can save it. If you gently rinse it and then place it back into the socket, if you do this in a short amount of time, it may actually be able to reattach itself. Next, when you breathe through your nose, you're mostly breathing through one nostril. This is called the nasal cycle, which switches between each nostril every few hours. But you only really notice this when you have a cold.
I just found a...
Really? So we only breathing in throughout one nostril? I feel like 2 though. I feel like I'm using both. Got to test that out. Especially the one about the taste buds, man. I'm definitely going to have to test that one out, man. I'm calling cap on that one. I gotta try it out.
Way you can change your eye color, and I want to see if you can do it. Okay, what I need you to do is stare at the eye at the center of this circle. Now double tap the screen if you want to know what's going on. Try not to blink, and whatever you do not look away. Now as you're watching this, you will see this image begin to shift and move. This is the feeling of your brain changing your eye color. It will be a fully different color in 3, 2, 1. Go to a washroom right now and look at your eyes in the mirror. Your eyes will be a different color. Comment what you saw.
Get facts that you didn't need to know. This is the world's smallest reptile. Look how tiny it is. The stoneheads found in the Easter Islands actually have bodies. Most Korean people have a genetic mutation called ABCC11, which makes their sweat odorless. If you're looking to get revenge on your ex, only slash 3 tires and not 4, because the insurance covers all 4 tires. Cannibalism is legal in 49 US states. An elephant's 5th leg is so big and strong that it can throw around an adult human. Hippos sweat red, like actually.
Please tell me when he said elephant's 5th legs, he didn't say that's not what I think it is, man. Please tell me I'm wrong. What the hell? Yeah, those are facts, man, that stuck with me.
This is a scary urban legend about the Rake. This is the Rake. He is a scary urban legend in the United States. He is a humanoid creature with very large teeth and claws that stalks its victims and appears at the end of their beds while they sleep, or in the woods or their houses. He is 6 feet tall, with pale grayish skin and 2 very large eyes. When the Rake has a victim, he completely stalks them and terrifies them, and then mutilates their body, completely ripping them apart and killing them. The Rake has a lot of dangerous and powerful powers. He has superhuman strength and speed, also invisibility and shapeshifting, and even teleportation. People who have been stalked by the Rake have either committed suicide because they couldn't handle what the Rake was doing to them, or the Rake just kills them. All in all, the Rake is a very powerful creature, and every single one of us should pray that we never see him.
Stay away from the Rake.
I've seen hundreds of horror movies, and these are some that actually scared me, and I promise will make you sleep with the lights on. The first time I saw Incantation, I literally had full body chills. This movie just has a way of getting under your skin, and after you're done watching it, you're gonna feel like you're cursed. It's about a mother who realizes that after she messed with this forbidden tunnel that belongs to a religious cult, that she ended up unleashing a curse that is now tormenting her daughter years later. If you're into found footage movies like Hell House LLC, Blair Witch, anything like that, I just have to say that Incantation is one of the scariest found footage movies I've ever seen. You need to watch this if you haven't yet. And for the next movie, I don't mean to be biased, but when it comes to disturbing movies, Asian horror is next level. 99% of this movie I cannot show on here, which is how you know it's good. I genuinely believe that anybody who says the body horror scenes in this movie didn't get to them is probably lying. The Sadness is a movie that pushes every single limit. But I don't know if I'm just messed up because I still think it's a really good movie. But beyond all of that, what really got under my skin is the concept behind this movie. It's kind of a zombie movie, but not really because it centers around a virus that makes people act on their darkest thoughts. The messed up things that they desire on the inside, the things that they're too afraid to act on. If you guys know about the comic book series Crossed, the virus in the Sadness is kind of like that. And this is the last movie on the list. It's completely different than the past two, but it's Megalomaniac. This one is about the children of a serial killer who suddenly disappeared. And we're watching this serial killer's son and daughter attempt to either live a normal life or carry on their father's legacy. This is a very strange movie. I would describe it as kind of like watching someone's nightmare unfold. If you like weird horror crime movies, almost like Longlegs but turned up to 100, then Megalomaniac might just be for you. Let me know what was the last horror movie that really scared you, because if I haven't seen it, I'll watch it and I'll recommend it if I really liked it. And don't forget to follow for more.
Scientists have created super skin that can self-heal 90% of damage in just 4 hours. This breakthrough is made possible by combining entangled polymer networks with ultra-thin nanosheets, making it incredibly resistant, allowing you to heal like a superhero. This milestone opens a window to newer possibilities in the fields of wound healing, soft robotics, artificial skin, and more.
Here's some rare...
Let me find out, man. We got some people about to turn into the Wolverine out here, bro. About to get the adamantium treatment, man. That's all from our comic book people, man. Who knows what that is? Your OG, man. That's crazy, man. We're really pushing the bounds of what it means to be human. That's scary. Very scary.
Photos of fascinating people through history. The two people in Grant Wood's American Gothic existed. This is what they looked like, and they were not a couple. It was the artist's sister and his dentist. This was Margaret Gorman, and she won the first Miss America competition in 1921. This was the first iteration of Ronald McDonald from 1963. This was Stephen Bobrowski, known as Lionel the Lion-Faced Man. He had hypertrichosis, which caused hair to grow up to 8 inches long all over his body. He performed with Barnum and Bailey and spoke 5 different languages. This was George Hackenschmidt, credited with inventing the bench press. This was Conrad Veidt, whose performance in the 1928 film The Man Who Laughs inspired the look for the Joker. This was Daniel Lambert, the world's heaviest person in the 18th century, weighing over 700 pounds, and according to a rumor, possibly fought off a bear by himself. This was Maud Wagner, who was believed to be the first female professional tattoo artist in the United States. This was Selma Burke, who designed the portrait of Franklin Roosevelt, still on the dime today. This is John Smith, and he was reported to be 137 years old at his death, but that's not verified. This is Ralph Lincoln, and he is the 11th generation cousin to Abraham Lincoln. This was Franz Reichelt wearing a homemade parachute suit. He tested it by jumping off the Eiffel Tower in 1912, and it did not deploy.
More details have come to light in the case of the author mum who allegedly murdered her husband. Now, this case has just got wild. Curry Richards, who wrote a children's book last year on how they can deal with grief after her husband Eric passed away, has actually been accused of murdering him by lacing a Moscow Mule cocktail with fentanyl last year. It has now come to light that she allegedly attempted to kill him multiple times before this occasion in order to secure his $3.6 million estate. Court documents have shown that Eric had actually previously said to his family, "If anything happens to me, she is to blame," but a family spokesperson said he stayed in the marriage for the sake of their 3 children. Now, according to affidavits obtained by Summit County Sheriff's Office, one of Eric's sisters
recalls Eric and Kouri were out in Greece on vacation a few years ago. Now, allegedly, Kouri made him a drink that made him violently sick. So much so, he actually called his sister back in America to say he believed Kouri tried to kill him. And according to records, there was another incident back on Valentine's Day in 2022. Kouri allegedly brought Eric a sandwich, and just after one bite, he had a severe allergic reaction. Hives, couldn't breathe, he had to have an EpiPen and Benadryl, and was reportedly out for hours after just one bite. Now, legal documents obtained by DailyMail.com show the twisted legal battle Kouri endured just weeks after Eric's death in order to try and secure the family estate. Kouri had claimed that all the money left in her late husband's will was rightfully hers, and had accused Eric of trying to defraud her and take legal action by shielding her from their property and their businesses. Now, according to a police warrant at the time, he had expressed concerns that Kouri may kill him for money. So without her knowing, he actually handed over his power of attorney and his will to his sister, Katie. Now, Kouri was completely unaware of this, so in her mind, on the terms laid out in their prenup when they got married, everything would be divided and pretty much everything would be left to her. When examining Eric's cause of death, the medical examiner said he had an overdose of fentanyl. 5 times the lethal amount was found in his system, and it looked like he had also taken it orally. They also added it seemed to be illicit fentanyl, not medical grade fentanyl. An anonymous source had actually come forward to police to claim they had sold Kouri $900 worth of fentanyl this year. Then she'd come back for another $900 worth of fentanyl after Valentine's Day. Something's not looking good here. Kouri Richins has been arrested on suspicion of his murder and is currently being held in custody. Her first trial date is set for May 19th. For more on this story, head to dailymail.com.
Breaking news, Dave.
That is a disgusting case, man. She did that all for some money, man. But he was 10 steps ahead. He put his sister in charge of his estate so she couldn't get it. Man, when people hit that big amount of money, they really would do anything, man. That was her husband, the father of her kids. All she wanted was the money. Be careful out here, man. Sometimes, man, it's okay to leave a toxic relationship. He tried to leave, but he wanted to stay for the kids. That's noble. Man.
They've now released the full 911 call in the Bryan Kohberger case. Take a listen.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022. 911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live in the White Store next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
This is crazy. The operator has to stay calm.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, you guys, let's check. But we have to. Did you have help?
They're going up to check?
She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting getting help started that way.
See her breathing through the phone.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20.
Okay.
Hello?
Keep switching people on the
Okay, I
phone.
need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Hey, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Talking to them, say, I can't talk to them, say, you can talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have to.
Fib.
Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, you have one.
So are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
My grandma always used to tell me that nothing good happens between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. She would say those are the devil hours. Do not go out during that time. And, you know, I always tell people, if you don't believe in any of this stuff, right, go out after midnight into the woods alone and then tell me what you think. Now, many years ago when I was younger, I had just gotten out of the military and I was kind of adjusting to this regular civilian life. Now, one of the things that helped me is I got into doing outdoor survival. Now, I used to do these 4 to 5 mile backpacking hikes where I would go out sometimes 12:30 at night and hike in the woods. This particular area that I would hike was along the river. It was like this hill and it was just this heavily wooded area. Now, at the time, right, this area was known to be home to the Peoria Indians. And this is where they hunted, this is where they lived. There's even believed to be this huge burial ground on this area that was never found. So this particular night, I decided to hike this trail called Pimatuhi. Now the Pimatuhi was an old Native American trail they used to use to get down this hill to the river. So what I would do is I would hike this trail and I would get to this specific spot where there was a stream that cut through the trail. I would then turn right and I would follow this stream through a ravine down to the river. So as I'm hiking the Pimatuhi Trail, I come to the stream, I turn right, and I start following along down this ravine.
Okay.
I start hearing like music, and it sounded like someone singing, but it wasn't like a person, it was like one of those music noises. And as I kept on walking further and further, like it got a little louder, a little louder. And that's when I get to the specific spot of the stream where it kind of makes a curve. And there's this sharp ravine with 2 steep sides on both sides. And I remember hearing this music like coming from the side of this cliff. And I'm like, what is making that music? Like, where is that coming from? And that's when I see like this opening on this side of the ravine. And, you know, it was probably about this wide. You could, you know, barely crawl through it. And it was some kind of cave or something. So I hiked up to the top of this hill, and I started shining my light into this cave. As I look in there, I see the movement of something very large. And I don't exactly know what it was. I can't explain to you what it looked like. But it caused me to like jump back. And at the time I'm thinking, okay, if this is some kind of wild animal, I'm blocking its only exit. So I started making my way back up the ravine and heading away from there. And as I'm walking, I notice like all this movement in the woods. And I see several deer just looking through the woods like something had just scared me.
Looking at?
And I can hear from behind me some movement coming out of the woods. And there were like branches breaking, and you know, you could hear the crunch of something hitting the leaves. I go a little faster now because I'm kind of nervous and like what is falling. As I'm, you know, continuing up the ravine, it starts getting closer and closer. And it got to the point where I knew that it was very, very close. So I pull my camera out and I take a picture with the flash. And when that flash hit, I could see two glowing eyes staring at me. So I threw my bag down and I just take on running as fast as I can. I get to the trail, I get out of here. And whatever this was, it broke off and didn't follow me. Later that night, you know, I'm looking at this picture, and you can clearly see the two eyes. And I'm like, whoa, something was following me, whatever it was in the cave. The next day, I hiked back out to this area because I wanted to find this cave again. Except I could not find it anywhere. And I went all the way along that ravine down to the river. There was no cave. And I still, to this day, have no idea what happened. What was
Johannesburg. That's the liquid metal. And almost nothing is happening to this burger. Watch when they pour it on the meat. Nothing happens. It just bounces off. Like nothing is happening. Stay weird, y'all.
First bit of footage from user AtomHeatom, we can see a man looking at a small insect on his finger.
36.
The weird thing is, it looks like the insect's been branded with the number 36.
Bro. What the hell? We got flying insects, robot drones or something, man? Was that a drone, basically? That has to be one of the most advanced drones I've ever seen yet, bro. It's like the pigeon theory, except with insects, man. Shout out to that, bro. If you know, you know. That definitely looks like a skinwalker or something, man. Yeah, we want that back. Yeah, that's a skinwalker, bro. You caught this on a 4K too, bro. It's walking on all fours. What is that?
Hey, man.
His arms is crossed. What the? Y'all saw that?
Seen that before.
Being observed? By who?
Being observed by who? By who? What?
No, I don't
So
know.
a lot of people in my comments have, you know, always been talking about Black Panthers, and I've done an episode over Black Panthers before on the podcast. But someone sent me a video, and I want y'all to tell me, because that I'm gonna slow it down and everything. That looks like, no doubt, a Black Panther. Like, it's chasing 4 deer. He gets it while he's driving down the road, and I'm going to tag him in the caption. Dalton, or it's a 405 Dalton, out of Shawnee, Oklahoma. See about it. That's very interesting. Is the tail? They said the tail is always very interesting. It's longer in the way that it's running too, and also too they don't really give out a lot of bursts. The big cats are not really, besides the cheetah, they're not chasing. They're preying upon and then they're pouncing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and it's crazy out here in Oklahoma.
So here's the full video. If you saw the story, you know, last night I saw something in the house that, as crazy as it sounds, to me looked like a vampire. I'm just going to show you the video. Here we go.
Okay.
Try it again. I'm hearing sounds up here, like somebody's moving around. This stuff's been happening, but as soon as I pull my phone out, everything stops. I don't know. I swear I heard somebody up here.
What the
Holy
heck?
shit. I don't know what happened. That thing vanished, and my camera stopped recording immediately. At the same time, it's gone. There's a slowed down version of what you saw, brightened and close up.
I see that.
I'm gonna post a still. I'm not sure how well you can see it. It turned like an old man to the door, lurched forward, and vanished.
Oh yeah, I'm out the house.
Honestly, at a loss for what to do from here, but I'll keep you guys updated.
I'm gonna give you a piece of advice, bro. Move. Simple as that, man. I'm out that house, man. So you can tell me down below, bro. Actually, comment that house emoji, man, if you're moving out, bro.
So I haven't made this video since the spring. We got 10 inches of snow and 3 inches of ice, and the pool turned green. So now I'm going to put some metal reducer in the pool and see if that helps.
It's starting to clear up. You literally see it changing colors, bro. Check out the middle.
2 minutes after I put the metal reducer in the pool. Here's what 5 minutes looks like. After 10 minutes, it looks like this. Why are they spraying metal in the air? What benefit, other than geoengineering the weather, is there to poisoning the people of America? How long are we going to let them continue?
I hope this video reached millions of people because y'all deserve to know. But what I'm about to reveal to y'all is truly significant. What y'all know about nanobots, aka nanotechnology?
Not a lot.
It is by far the greatest weapon that we have against us today. By far. I've been knowing about this technology for a while now, but I know majority of the population have no idea this weaponry even exists. They have no idea. I was watching a James Bond film. Out of all things, watching a movie, and it tells us exactly what it is and what it's designed to do. Are you watching it, or is it watching you? Listen and pay attention.
All right.
Y'all heard that, right? Truth in plain sight. It got me thinking, how are they able to get nanobots in our bodies? Everyone should be asking that. They're doing it in several ways. There's a lot of trails in our skies. Wouldn't you agree? Look up, because there's something coming down. I have to speak in code and you know why. They're doing it through weather modification, like rain, snow, etc. They're also entering in by the very foods that you consume. So check the ingredients. Same thing with the water supply. The Matrix was hinting towards the same exact thing. Do you remember? But it was a parasite in Neo, aka nanobot.
I remember that scene.
Let me show you.
I think you're bugged.
What the fuck is that? What the absolute fuck am I looking at right now? What the hell? Holy shit. No, dude.
Oh.
What is that, chat?
It's like 3 UFOs?
What the fuck?
You called it.
Oh my god, I think it's the end.
Could be orbs.
I think it's the end. I've never seen that in my life. Oh my god. What, bro, what the fuck is that shit?
Oh my gosh.
What?
They look like stars from far away,
They're
though.
too far apart to be planes. Oh my god. Dude, chat, I think those are aliens. Why are they like that? Like, they would never, no plane would be lined like that, like one higher than the other.
According to new reports, Epstein hid secret files in storage units across the US, and authorities have never raided these lockers. So this comes from an exclusive report from The Telegraph published yesterday on the 22nd of February. They claim that Epstein paid private investigators to take sensitive material from his home, including the island, which included things like computers, CDs, photographs, and documents, and then placed them in 6 different storage facilities he allegedly paid for. In fact, The Telegraph claimed to have obtained credit card receipts which confirm that Epstein rented various storage units between the year 2003 all the way up to his death in 2019. And according to search warrants, which The Telegraph also claimed to have obtained, the US authorities have never raided these lockers, raising the question, is there a trove of evidence stashed in these units not yet seen by authorities?
Have to be, right? My thing is, why they not raiding those lockers, bro? They know where it's at. They store some information in there, so obviously that maybe there's some more files, bro. Why aren't they trying to get that extra info, bro? More questions.
Somebody said something, because I was not going for that shit. I did not believe that nigga was Jim Carrey, bro. I said, ain't no way Jim Carrey gonna fuck his face up like that, knowing he gotta do all them facial expressions he be doing. They said, that's the mask right there. The Jim Carrey that was seen in Paris was actually a fake and impersonated by artist Alex Stone. Bro, y'all think this real, bro? I just don't know what to believe no more, bro. I can't believe somebody could put somebody's face on and beat him. That's what I'm talking about, bro. They playing games. They playing games with real niggas. Jim Carrey, if you out there, can you please come and clear all this up? Get on live. I don't know. What y'all think, bro? Y'all think somebody put a mask on and was acting like Jim Carrey and received an award? If that sounds completely insane, all right, I'll let it go. I'll let it go, but I ain't make this up. Somebody else post this. I just found this. So y'all just let me know if y'all believe it or not. But if this shit real, I'm finna just start slapping everybody to see if they face move.
Now, I know I said, look at the race grades of it. I know I said I don't like big wings, but like, come on. Come on.
I mean, that's his best, bro.
They ain't even let it finish growing yet. I'm just gonna pluck this out. This is crazy.
That ain't a wing. Y'all hear that sound? What the? Is he the only one seeing that, bro? Because nobody else is going crazy, man. Imagine driving by and seeing that, bro. What's your first reaction?
Oh shit, y'all. Cuba and the United States is probably about to clash, fool. 4 people that was on a speedboat that was registered to Florida was unalived on Cuba water by their officials. So they was on a speedboat, 4 of them. I guess the driver didn't know that he was in the Cuba's water. He was on their land territory. One thing led to another. They start arguing back and forth. And then the Cuban official said that somebody on that boat started firing. And that's when they returned fire, unaliving all 4 that was on that speedboat. I can see a whole international situation now. A big problem. Because they decided to unalive some Florida folks, some US folks. Y'all already know that the United States and Cuba don't see eye to eye. They don't like each other. Could this situation be the reason? Could this be the plan all along? To go in there and...
Have you heard of the headless men known as Blemmyes?
Nah.
These creatures were first mentioned by Herodotus in the book Histories written in 430 BC. Most of ancient history taught in Western academia is based on this literature. In this book, Herodotus speaks of a land in the western region of Libya. This land was inhabited by huge snakes, dog-headed men, wild men, and then men with their eyes and their mouth in their breast. The Blemmyes are also mentioned in the Indian epic Ramayana. The demon Kamada is depicted as one of these creatures. The Chinese god Qing Shen is described as having no head with his nipples as eyes and his belly button as a mouth. There are even paintings of Alexander the Great encountering these creatures with his army. In one of the stories, he captures 30 of them to show to the rest of the world. These creatures have been mentioned in Africa, Asia, and even South America, and are all described exactly the same. These creatures are either metaphorical or actually existed. If they did exist, they were most likely the result of genetic deformity. The third explanation is that they were an ancient genetic experiment. God sent the flood to wipe out giants as well as strange flesh. Maybe these creatures are what strange flesh refers to. Just imagine stumbling on one of these creatures. More to come. Like and follow.
First time hearing about the Blemmyes, bro. It seems like they were wiped from the history books, man. So this is my first time hearing about it, bro.
Strange small object that we just flew by, a small silver canister. Do you know what that could be?
49er Kilo, we've had no reports in that area. What altitude and directions to heading?
It appears to be standing still. I'm at 3,500 feet. It was right off our wingtip. Small silver canister.
Roger, thanks. Do you think it's a drone or is it like a balloon type?
I saw nothing attached to it. It was sort of hovering there. It was astonishing. I don't know what it was.
Creepy.
I want to believe.
Chrono 402, contact approach on 125.75.
25.75, Chronos 402. Good luck with the aliens.
Oh, damn. He just said good luck, bro.
Gila? Do I know you? You know Gila?
No, sorry.
No? I used to order hella pizza off for shower delivered, yeah.
Where's St. James? Okay. Put Facebook ID, face check.
Two alien skeletal remains have allegedly been recovered under a church in Mexico, right? Two bodies right here that you're seeing right now. Absolutely incredible. This was on News Nation with Chad Rubichel, who is a United States Marine Corps veteran, and with the TAD Recovery CEO, T.W. Mock, talking about the process, what happened, how they recovered these things, and what they found. The two skeletal bodies, and allegedly a carving as well, depicting these two beings with spears, the ones that are referenced, and these are dating back to around the 1600s. Now, there is talks that they are alluding to that a lot of these churches, and also spiritual sites, things of that nature, have been built on top of crash sites, or things related to the UFO extraterrestrial phenomena, right? Now, allegedly, 13 operatives reportedly died while attempting a recovery prior to the two guys finally recovering these remains that we're seeing here. Check this out. It is incredible.
Okay, so we've got an image that we've put up here of what appear to be two skeletal remains. They're clearly not human. If we believe what you've been told about these remains, they date right back to the 1600s.
Correct.
Talk me through what we're looking at here. They appear to be non-human. Talk me through what you're looking at.
It resembles the artifacts that I found as skeletal remains, and then subsequently, anyway, I was trying to process all of the information as it came together And subsequently, that led me to a place of saying, well, this isn't us. This isn't human.
You had a neighborhood where you had every house had security guards, and those security guards were people that worked the same house for 10 years or 20 years. The knowledge they had of that house was extreme. And then if that neighborhood had an HOA with, call it private security, and those private security were also sort of around and knew everything, like what would happen? Like when a dog gets lost, you know, you'd be like, oh my gosh, my dog is lost. Well, they would call each other, and one of them would find the dog very quickly. So how do we sort of change that and bring that into the digital world? Is
do you ever stop and consider that that neighborhood might suck? Just like the idea that every house on my street would have all-knowing private security guards, and I would have an HOA, and that HOA would have a private security force. You can easily paint that to dystopia, right? Like everyone's so afraid that we have private cops in every corner.
I would assume you live in a safe neighborhood.
I hope so, yeah.
If you want, I'll take you to a place where people live that they have to, when they get home from school, lock their doors and stay in their house and can't go out. But
I'm just saying the model is everybody is so afraid that they have private cops. I
think the model is that doing crime in a neighborhood like that is not profitable, and I think that you want people to move into another job.
Bro, the Ring CEO, man. I still remember when that commercial came out, bro. People backlashed against it so hard, and then you like they took it off. They said they're not doing it no more, right? You know, they said Rings connecting where they found a dog, but people were afraid that could lead to something else.
These people are really playing in our faces now, because ain't no way that the Epstein list came out and McDonald's was on the list, and McDonald's comes out with a new burger and they have the CEO trying it out, and this man look like he don't even want to eat it. He barely want to say his name. Are you kidding me? Bro, tell me y'all seen this video. If not, check this out.
Skay here with, you've heard about it.
No, we didn't.
Here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product.
We don't care.
It is so good.
Just
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch.
Just do it.
So, here we go.
Do it right now.
Holy cow. God, that is a big burger.
Is that why they say holy cow? Because they want you to think it's a cow, but it's really, I don't know, y'all. I'm just trying to make, because why would they want you to think it's, the kids? Y'all see that?
Lettuce. So,
Hold on.
There's so much going on.
Y'all think these people are playing with us? Y'all think it's a game? Look what's behind him. Look, Herman Petty. Right? Isn't that what he's being? And matter of fact, he look like a Herman. He don't look like his name is Chris.
Some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it.
Translation, he does not want to eat it.
Crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out.
We know.
All right, the moment of truth.
Look at that.
That's small bite, bro.
Where's the bite?
That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
Is that a big bite, bro? He just literally did the Squidward meme, bro. I know what I mean. We took a bite of Krabby Patty, bro. That is a big bite.
Where's the bite?
Distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger. It also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product.
Did he just say it's unlike anything else on our menu? So what did McDonald's got some diabolical stuff going on, and he's at the top of it, y'all. Y'all not gonna sit here and tell me that he didn't purposely move out the way so y'all can see that he's being petty. And it's the year 2026. If you're still feeding your children, I don't know what to tell y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it.
Facts that school never taught you, part 3. In the late 19th century, if you had a cavity, the dentist would give you cocaine in order for you not to feel it. In the 1950s, doctors would recommend pregnant women to smoke to help alleviate stress and control weight gain. It was also told that smoking increased the chances that you would have a healthy baby. Really glad we don't do that one anymore. In some cultures, toe amputations are needed for people who want to be ballerinas. It's believed that if you have a toe amputation, it would help you be more on point with your big toe, which I guess technically isn't wrong. Christopher Columbus mistook manatees for mermaids. In fact, he made love to a manatee. Now I know what you're thinking, how would that even work? Well, it worked. In fact, it worked so well because manatees have an identical vagina to humans. Do with that what you will. You have an extra 2 inches of pee-pee length that you'll never be able to see, but it still counts, right? Since the 1980s, there are 222,000 unsolved serial killer murders, and that's just in the United States. If that's not scary enough, you will walk past 36 serial killers in your entire lifetime. So make sure you're always watching your back. Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video. that will mess with
That was a wild time back then.
Part 3. First American football game was played just 4 years after the Civil War. The last death by firing squad occurred in the U.S. the same year Toy Story 3 came out. Shakespeare was still alive while England was colonizing America. The Roman Empire fell just 40 years before Columbus discovered a new continent. Mozart was in his prime while the United States signed the Declaration of Independence. Before 2016, the Cubs hadn't won a World Series since the Ottoman Empire existed. The first plane crash occurred the same year the Model T came out. Crazy?
Some crazy facts, man. We're learning.
Now, Australia is the drunkest country in the entire world, a new study finds. So the global study heard from over 32,000 people from 22 countries. It revealed that Australians on average got drunk 27 times throughout the year, and the global average, bear in mind, is 15. The average Australian got drunk, not tipsy, more than once every 2 weeks, and that's just the average. Australians also tripled the global average on seeking emergency care for their drinking. And in case you were wondering, the top 5 drunkest countries in the world are UK in 5th place, USA in 4th, Finland in 3rd, Denmark in 2nd, and good old Australia in 1st.
I really thought it was gonna be the UK first, because I know UK. There's like, you can drink over there when you like, if I'm not mistaken, like when like 16, 17, right, at the pub. So that's shocking. I was not expecting the Australians, man, to be the drunkest country, bro.
Things you didn't know what they were for. 1. The purpose of those little buttons on jeans is called rivets, and they are placed in areas of high wear to prevent the jeans from tearing. 2. The small pocket on jeans was originally designed to hold a pocket watch. It's a 19th century design. 3 dash. The first mark at the bottom of the glass represents approximately 1 shot. The second line is for wine, and the third line is for beer. 4. The shape of beer bottles was designed to encourage people to hold them by the neck, preventing the beer from warming up before finishing it.
Terrifying
Wow.
games you don't want to
Interesting.
play, part 32. You and I. The rules for playing this game are simple, and the rewards for winning can be great, but be warned, if you lose, the penalty will be worse than death. To play the game, you'll need to awaken your mirror twin. All you'll need to do this is a deck of playing cards, a match or fire starter, and a full-size mirror. Once you have acquired these items, you'll need to set up the mirror in a quiet room and wait until midnight. Once the clock strikes 12, you'll need to remove the Joker cards from the deck and burn them in front of the mirror while saying the words, "I know you're there, come out and play." This will awaken your twin, allowing the game to begin. To begin the game, you'll need to deal yourself 10 random playing cards face down. Before you reveal the cards, you'll need to say out loud whether you think there will be more numbered cards or face cards in the hand. If you choose correctly, then for every card you got right, you will gain an extra year of good luck. For example, if you pick face cards, and there are 6 face cards in the hand and 4 numbered cards, you will gain 6 years of good luck. But if you choose wrong, then your evil twin will be released from their prison. They will seek to take over every part of your life, locking you in the mirror in their stead. Comment whether or not you would play this game, and follow for more.
Crazy history facts you didn't learn in school. Part
Won't be playing
6.
that.
Abraham Lincoln is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. George Washington opened a whiskey distillery. During the Salem witch trials, the accused witches weren't actually burned in the perception of time. Part 3. First American football game was played just 4 years after the Civil War. The last death by firing squad occurred in the U.S. the same year Toy Story 3 came out. Shakespeare was still alive while England was colonizing America. The Roman Empire fell just 40 years before Columbus discovered a new continent. Mozart was in his prime while the United States signed the Declaration of Independence. Before 2016, the Cubs hadn't won a World Series since the Ottoman Empire existed. The first plane crash occurred the same year the Model T came out. Crazy?
That's that Cubs fact, bro. It's crazy.
This weird-looking fish is, but this is why I won't swim in canal.
That, my friend, is a sheep's head. Now, you might be wondering why this fish looks like it should still be pissed about the Euro Cup. It's because they use those teeth to grind up shellfish, mussels, and clams, and in some places you can hear them munching away. You can find them in Cape Cod in Massachusetts, through Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, all the way down to Brazil. Also, they have a bad habit of stealing bait from fishermen. Luckily, they're not super aggressive, and they don't normally bite people unless you literally ask for it. But with a mouthpiece like that, they don't need to touch you to do damage to your mental. Also, the saltwater sheephead is apparently sweet tasting when cooked, but I wouldn't know because I do not have the strength to try one. Also, they're not the only fish with a dental plan. This is a triggerfish, and like the sheep said, they look like they only exist because of a drunk dare. But unlike the sheep said, the triggerfish lives up to its name by being highly aggressive and territorial. And the worst of all is the Titan triggerfish, which is mean enough to send you to bed with more stitches than you woke up with. Now hear me out, but he looks just like...
Oh, what the...
You will believe
roasted Travis Scott.
Twist at the end of this story. So during the 1970s, a young couple living in Utah went on their first date. And the two of them were having a good time on this first date, but they could both tell that this wasn't really going anywhere between the two of them. It was pretty awkward between the two of them over the course of their dinner, but they decided to be friendly and just stick it out. It was getting to be pretty late at night, but right before the young couple left the restaurant to go their separate ways, the young man asked the young woman if she wanted to go on a late night hike with him in the Utah mountains. The young woman was kind of taken aback by him asking her to do this, considering the date didn't go too well. But he explained to her that he had gone hiking in those same mountains many times before and that there was nothing to be worried about. And so the young woman decided to agree to go on this hike with her date because she thought, what the heck, maybe this will spice things up. However, when the young couple began their hike in the woods, the two of them felt very off about things. As the two of them went deeper into the forest, things began to feel very eerie around them. Both of their heartbeats began to rapidly speed up, and the two of them kind of both thought to themselves that maybe they should turn back around. But since it was their first date, neither of them wanted to be the one to speak up and say, hey, I think we should go back, so they kept on walking forward. At this point, it was basically completely black in the forest. And then suddenly, the two of them heard some movement coming from some nearby bushes. And it was right at this point when the man stepped on something soft and squishy that was very different from the rest of the trail. And it was right at this point where the two of them just felt like they should get out of there, so they both left. Ironically, this scary experience in the woods led the young couple to become closer, and eventually, a few years later, they got married. 10 years later, the married couple was making breakfast one morning while watching the news. And on the news this particular morning, they were interviewing a serial killer a couple days before he was sentenced to be put to death. And one of the questions that they asked him was if there was ever a time where he was almost caught years before he was actually caught by police. And surprisingly, the murderer said, well, yeah, there actually was this time where I was nearly caught in the woods. He went on to say that about 10 years ago, he was in the mountains of Utah trying to dispose one of his victims in the woods, when all of a sudden a young couple literally walked right into the crime scene. The killer said that the young man in the couple actually stepped on the body of his victim that he was trying to drag away into the woods. However, since it was so dark in the woods, the young couple couldn't really see their surroundings, so they just kind of turned around and left, being spooked. The serial killer that the young couple unknowingly caught in the act was Ted Bundy.
Trust your gut, man. Trust your gut. It will literally save your life. That's what you need to take from that story, Seekers. It's crazy in Utah. Don't they have like a grave digger mountain in Utah, bro? That sounds like you asking for trouble, man.
This is the most disturbing Japanese serial killer that you've never learned about.
This is Tasomo Mayuzaki, and this is his real hand.
If his name is hard to pronounce for you, don't worry about it. You can call him his nickname, the Human Dracula. Now, the reason you might not have heard about this case is because the details of this case are so disturbing that Japanese media tried to hide this. From 1988 to 1989, he was convicted of abducting, murdering, and mutilating young girls from the ages of 4 to 7. The way he would do this is he would drive to a local park or maybe even a playground, and he would have a friendly conversation with these young girls so that way they'd be able to trust him. The second they were able to trust him, he would then lure them into his car by saying, hey, I'll give you a ride somewhere. Once the child would get in his car, he would then strangle them and then mutilate their bodies. As if this isn't the worst part, he would collect their hands as trophies, he would grind up their bones into a powder, put it inside of a package, and mail it to the victims' families. The reason he did this is he enjoyed taunting the victims' families by basically saying, you're never gonna catch me. He would also drink their blood and even eat the hands. But boy was he wrong, because in 1989 he was literally caught in the act of trying to pick up a little girl. He was arrested and put on trial, and he never took accountability for what he did. He had no remorse, and he kept blaming it for his alter ego. He was eventually executed in 2008, and this is why your parents tell you to never trust strangers. There are so many disturbing cases in Japan, but Japan doesn't like people to know about them because they try and keep everything really discreet. They basically don't want the public to freak out
out about all of these cases, but if you want to know the real deal secrets behind Japan, make sure to hit the like and follow button, and I'll explain them some in the next video. Lost inventions that could have changed the world. In the late 1990s, inventor Jan Slow created the slow digital coding system. He claimed it could compress an entire multi-gigabyte movie down to a file size of 8 kilobytes. This would have revolutionized the way we store and share data. Slout demonstrated this to executives from Philips by playing 16 movies simultaneously from a single 64 kilobyte chip. And the Philips execs told Slout that he was about to be, quote, the richest man on earth. However, 2 days before the source code was going to be handed over, Slout mysteriously died in his garden of a heart attack on September 11th, 1999. And his decoding software was never recovered.
Nah, that's definitely something fishy, man. Bro was about to freaking change the memory software game forever. And then 2 days later, he has a heart attack. Literally after that guy said, you're about to become the richest man on earth. Something not adding up, man. I think something happened, bro.
The catacombs of Paris don't scare me, but you know what does? The Palermo catacombs. Now the Paris catacombs are filled with bones, but the Palermo catacombs has 1,200 full mummified bodies. Also, I'm showing you these photos for educational purposes, but like if you're squeamish, beware. And this is one of them. Like she literally looks like a sleeping girl. But she's so old. Her name is Rosalia. She's one of the last bodies that was put in the catacombs, and she passed away in 1920 due to the Spanish flu. And look how good of a condition she's in. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, the bodies lining the wall are creepy. And she never really decomposed. Like, she's 60 years old in this, but she literally looks like she's like a sleeping child. I can't show you this face, but a lot of these faces are decomposing, and then a lot of them are really, really lifelike, which is what I find so creepy. If you want, just Google this, and pictures will come up, and you'll get to see the faces. I just can't post them. In 2009, she started getting a little discolored, so they put her in a glass case to preserve her better. And people noticed her eyes opening and closing in the glass case. But people said when her eyes would open, they could see how crystal blue her eyes were. But then when her eyes were closed, you couldn't see this. But this happened because her eyes, like, weren't actually fully closed. So the light would sometimes play tricks. But this is like a thing that happens with the bodies in the catacombs here. Would you visit the Palermo catacombs? Let me know. And follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
Nah,
about the
not
supernatural
me.
presence some hikers have seen? Apparently, multiple hikers who have been in the same extreme survival situations reported seeing the same ghostly presence. It's known as the third man syndrome, and it's when a supernatural presence appears to give comfort and encouragement to someone. I did a whole episode on it on the podcast, but this is one of the stories that really stood out to me. So in 1983, James Sevigny and his friend Richard were hiking in the Canadian Rockies. They were up part of a mountain when all of a sudden James hears this thunderous roar coming from up the mountain. And as he looks up, there's just thousands of tons of snow pummeling straight towards him.
Avalanche.
Get hit hard, and when James wakes up, he's in bad shape. His body had been tumbled around like socks in a dryer. He had all these broken bones and internal bleeding. And so he thinks this is it. He just lays down and accepts it. But 20 minutes later, he feels this person come up behind him, and he's under the snow, mind you. And this person says, "You can't give up. You have to live." And somehow James crawls out of the snow where he sees two cross-country skiers in the distance, and they come over and rescue him. Richard unfortunately didn't make it, but James lived. Some people attribute this to guardian angels, but what do you think?
We finally have a full trailer for the new horror movie Bring Her Back, an A24 horror movie by the same directors who made Talk to Me a few years ago. I'm pretty excited about this one. Usually I'm a big fan of horror movies where like a ritual goes wrong and then all hell breaks loose. Bring Her Back looks like it'll involve some kind of demonic possession, but we don't really know that much about the plot yet. So let's watch the trailer together and see what the movie could be about.
All right.
How did you cope with Kathy being gone?
I didn't.
What's she's doing? Or maybe she's trying to do a ritual.
Your new sister and brother, Oliver. Oliver lost his family just like you guys. need someone to give you this special care. Listen, I gotta tell you a secret.
That white ring for? Okay.
This is the most inbred family in America. These are the Whitakers, and they're from a town called Odd in West Virginia. It's really sad. They don't have contact with the outside world, so they'll bark and grunt in order to communicate. Here's how all of this happened. Henry and John are twins. Henry has a son named John, and John has a daughter named Gracie. Gracie and John are cousins. They then get married and have 15 kids. Also, Gracie's parents were cousins. Photographer named Mark Leda met the family in 2004, and here's what he had to say.
But we were in West Virginia just driving around looking for anybody interesting to photograph. And this windy road turns into like a gravel road, and then turns into a dirt road. And there's shacks. Every once in a while you see a house. Like somebody lives there? Very poor. There's a shack on the left, there's a trailer on the right, small trailer. And there's about 10 or 12 people just walking around. And it's like everyone you look at, it's like their eyeballs are going this way. And not a single tooth among them, not a single tooth in any of their heads. And they look at us and we look at them and they start yapping and screaming and barking. And yeah, some of them are just staring at us and drooling.
He raised a lot of money to help them with these pictures and videos of the family. He's friends with them and he takes them shopping, and he and the police check up on them every once in a while to make sure they're doing okay. If you like my content, follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
Crazy story about how we found them.
Let me get a pair of twins. All right? They're born the same time, they're the same age. And now one of them I will send off at 90% the speed of light. And the other I'll keep down here on Earth. So we can ask, how does their aging rates compare? Okay? Turns out, this twin that I've already sent, his clock ticks 44% as fast as this twin's clock. Our clock here on Earth. So, this twin is aging more slowly than this one. That's at 90% the speed of light. Let's pump it up some more. How about 99% the speed of light? Now the time ticks at only 14% the rate, as it does back here on Earth. How about 99.9%? We're getting closer and closer to the speed of light itself. And at that speed, the clock ticks only 4.5% as fast. So, what does this mean? I'll tell you what it means. This twin that traveled for 5 years and comes back, if they went at 99.9% the speed of light, after 5 years, they're 5 years older.
Wow.
We have aged 110 years.
Damn, what the?
It's called the twin paradox.
Okay, some creepy facts. You're locking in, bro. Not
If you want to keep that thing as a pet, be my guest. But first, there's some things you should know. Meet the fang-toothed moray eel. It's basically a fully carnivorous sea serpent with a mouthful of broken glass. Not to mention, they have a 900-pound bite force to go along with those daggers. Oh, and their teeth? Yeah, they face backwards. That way, when they grab a hold of their prey, it ain't going nowhere. And this is where things get weird. Inside their throat, they have a second set of jaws with a second set of teeth. And these jaws can protrude forward to help grab the prey and pull it down its throat. Come to think of it, that sounds really familiar. Anyways, what makes it even worse is they have absolutely no predators. And that's because they have this really thick slime substance inside their body. So if anything were to bite into them, they would just get a mouthful of slime, which will cause them to choke and retire from taking in oxygen. At this point, Mother Nature's just picking favorites. Moral of the story? I don't think that swimming doctor's office would make a very good friend. Maybe leave it there. And as always, follow for more facts.
This is
Thanks for letting us know.
Story part 25. Warning. This is not a joke. The information that's going to be shared is dangerous and life-threatening. Do not, under any circumstance, commit the actions that will be narrated. This is the world's most dangerous book ever. Shams al-Ma'arif. This book was written by Ahmad al-Buni in the 17th century. But technically, the author of this book is not a human being. I never did and will never read this book. And this is your second warning. Do not read this book.
I won't.
Ahmad al-Buni practiced black magic, and he was in contact with the most powerful jinns and demons before he passed away. The jinns were the authors of this book. The elder generations, like our moms and dads, have heard about this book, and they were warned by it. There are thousands of horrifying stories of people who read this book. Shams al-Ma'arif explains everything about black magic, how to get in touch with the world of jinns, how to marry a jinn, and the sacrifices you have to do for the devil, and much more. Unfortunately, this book can be easily found online. One day, a Saudi Arabian man that read hundreds of books for a living decided to read this book specifically out of interest and love for all books, without fearing the consequences behind it. He reached the chapter that teaches readers how to get married to a female jinn. He laughed about it. He tried the ritual to experiment it. The first night after finishing the whole book and completing the marriage ritual, he felt someone breathing next to his face. And on the second night, he felt a hand touching his feet. And on the third night, he heard her voice. The man was officially locked in a marriage with a demon. 5 years go by. He met a normal, beautiful woman that he fell in love with, and they both decided to get married a week before the wedding day. The bride, the bride's parents, and the groom's parents all passed and died in 3 different car crashes. These are the consequences behind this book. And it's also known from many stories of people that have died from reading the first few pages. If you don't finish reading the book, you will get killed. All my stories, all of them, are true incidents that happened one time only. But this book is a product that is permanently available online. I beg you, do not go anywhere.
A tornado of 1974 that showed the dark side of nature. April 3rd, 1974 started as an unusually hot and nice day for that time of year in Xenia, Ohio. People were out and about enjoying the day. Some people were laying out in their yard getting sunshine, which is what one survivor was doing that we'll talk about in a minute. But most people had no idea of the weather that was heading their way. It wasn't until about 3:30 that dark clouds started rolling in, and many of the survivors described the sky turning green. So one survivor, his name was Michael. He was about 15 years old and had just gotten out of school around 3:30. So he probably made it home a little before 4. His mom was still at work. She worked in downtown on Main Street in Xenia. And I feel like we all know that feeling of getting home from school, you have the house to yourself, maybe make a snack, put on your favorite TV shows. That's basically what was happening. The weather was picking up outside, but he wasn't really concerned at the moment until the TV was interrupted, which was very rare back then. And also there was no tornado warnings back then in that town at the time. But the TV interruption was of a guy, I think a meteorologist named Gil Whitney, saying that there was an unprecedented tornado breakout in other states near Ohio, which was the super breakout of 1974. Hundreds of tornadoes started breaking out across 13 states, destroying thousands of homes, killing hundreds of people. So at around 4 p.m., the first TV interruption happened in Xenia, saying that the outbreak is happening nearby and that Ohio might get some of the tornadoes, but not Xenia specifically. And then about 15 minutes later, a second interruption happened on the TV, and I'm sure he started freaking out at that point, but they were saying like Xenia could be in the projected path of some tornadoes, but nothing saying that there is one yet. And then at 4:30, another TV interruption happens, but this time they're saying, take cover, a giant tornado is barreling towards Xenia right now. So Michael calls up his mom at work, and she actually answers and says that she's aware of the situation, and that the weather is starting to pick up and get really bad. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my god, it's here, and then the line goes dead. So that obviously freaked him out, and he realized how bad the situation really was, decided to jump in the car and go look for her, which may have not been the best idea, but he did survive, so. But according to him, as he started making his way towards downtown, there was just so much debris that he had to keep finding different roads. As he got closer, he just realizes how bad it really was, and to the point where he had to jump out of his car and just start running because there was so much debris, and even like climb over the derailed train. 3 different tornadoes had combined into one giant tornado that was a half a mile wide, then headed straight for Xenia. And we'll pick the story back up in part 2, so if you guys are ready for that, let me know.
Sounds crazy, but they said the whole sky turned green? What was going on? First time hearing about, I guess, a tornado doing that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
You know, at night when you have to turn the lights off in your house and you get to that last light and you switch it off and it's completely dark, and it feels like all of a sudden your house has now become the most haunted house in the world, and you have to make a run all the way back to your bedroom. There might be something to that. Now, when we are doing this, right, we put ourselves in a vulnerable position. And I think anything negative, any kind of spirit that is a negative entity knows this. This is the best time to scare us. And they're trying to see if they can scare us just a little bit to gain entry and to allow them permission to come into our lives. So this is a story I heard out of Rockford, Illinois. There was this girl, and she lived in this bigger house all alone. And it started to get late. She wanted to go to bed. So she starts going through her house, turning off all the lights. She gets to the last light, which is in the living room. And when she hits it off, and it goes completely dark, she gets that feeling. Well, she walks through her living room, and as she walks past her kitchen, she turns and kind of glances in, and she sees a woman, like in a white gown, just standing in the kitchen. And she's like, "Who are you? What do you want?" And the woman just starts walking towards her. So she takes off running to her bedroom.
Smart.
She closes her door, locks it, and she calls the police. The police show up, and she says, you know, come inside, like there's a woman in my house. I'm in my bedroom, locked in there, I don't want to come out. So they go through her house, they search it, they don't find anyone. And they said, ma'am, are you sure you didn't just see something? Like, you know, are you just tired? Maybe it was like a hallucination. And she goes, no, I'm for sure there was a woman in my kitchen. So they said, well, we can't find anything. You probably are just tired. Why don't you just go to bed? So they leave, and she goes back up to her bedroom. And when she lays down in bed, she kind of feels like, you know what, maybe that was just, you know, in my head. Maybe I'm just tired and I need to get some sleep.
Okay.
So as she turns around to adjust herself in the bed, there's the woman standing right next to her. And she jumps up, she runs out of her house, and she said as she's in the front of her house, she can see the woman looking out of her window, staring at her.
Duendes. Deep in Mexican folklore, duendes are commonly spoken about, from tales that involve these small creatures giving gold coins to people in exchange for goods. But there are also old tales involving a more sinister ending. In 1931, a young man in his 20s named Sancho was out mushroom picking deep within the Oaxaca rainforest when suddenly he finds himself face to face with a small-sized village. It is then apparent to him that there are hundreds of these duende beings. They spoke to him as a friend, cracking jokes with him, giving him alcohol and gold coins. When Sancho decided it was time to go, he realized that he had lost a significant amount of time. When he got back to his village, nothing was the same. In fact, he did not recognize anyone. Upon further inspection, he realized he had been missing for 76 years. His last memories were of these duende creatures putting him in a trance and pressuring him inside a portal.
Duendes, man, they kind of sound like leprechauns, bro. They got the gold coins. They small. I wonder if that's where leprechauns originated from, man. Yeah, these are some important questions, bro.
How many of you have heard of the urban legend of El Charro Negro? So the story of El Charro Negro is Mexican folklore, but people who have spotted shadows of El Charro Negro swear that there's truth to the story. So the story takes us to the early 1900s in a small town called San Juan de los Lagos in Mexico. And that's where we meet a man named Juan. He was said to have been a miner in a rural area with a young family. After a long day at the mines, him and a group of friends went to a local cantina to have some drinks. And in the middle of their drunken conversation, he said to his friends that life is very unfair and that he would do anything or give anything to be rich and powerful. And that's when a man dressed in all black entered the cantina, and he slowly approached Juan's table and whispered in his ear and said, "If you want this, then you can really have it." Creeped out about the entire thing, Juan's friends immediately left the table, but Juan was hypnotized by this man in black. The man in black then told Juan to go to a local mine known as the Coyote Cave. And because Juan was apparently so drunk, he just nodded in agreement and went to this cave. Juan waited and waited, but nothing happened. And just as Juan was about to leave, he turned and noticed a very large snake staring at him. He approached the snake and took it back with him, thinking that he could probably sell it for a fortune because of its abnormal size. When he got back to his home, he locked the snake in a dry hole and covered it with some wooden boards so it wouldn't escape. When Juan went to sleep, he was said to have had a very strange dream. And in the dream was the snake, except this time it could talk. And it said to him, "Thank you for giving me your home and for letting me enter your soul." It then told him that he would find payment for his soul in his barn the following morning. And if he were to accept the payment, then he would also owe the snake his firstborn son. When Juan woke up in the morning, he went to the barn, and of course there were bags and bags of gold coins. When he went to go tell his wife, she was absolutely hysterical because their firstborn son was missing and the snake was gone. However, Juan was immediately distracted by the amount of money he now had, and from there he ended up buying a large piece of land and built a farm. He was also apparently seen around town showing off all of his new money. But years later, the snake appeared one more time and asked for the life of his second son, to which Juan agreed in exchange for even more money. After that, Juan's wife left him, and he was said to have had many girlfriends throughout the village, and this resulted in many more sons in order for him to exchange for more money. And apparently he kept doing this up until the day he passed. And at his funeral, apparently the man in black reappeared, presumably to take Juan's soul with him back to hell. And ever since then, El Charro Negro appears in the streets at...
My man was selling his soul, bro. He didn't even know he sold his soul, and he sold all of his son's souls. Just for some gold coins, man. I'm telling you, bro. I said it before, I say it again, man. Money is the root of all evil. Like, he was really selling. It was like it was a transaction. His son for gold. And like, he kept just doing it over and over again. It was just like a loop. Terrifying folklore, man.
So, fun fact,
Lechuzas are described to be a type of witch that can transform into an owl, and some versions even keep their humanistic nature. I don't know why they would do that, but whatever. Interesting enough, Lechuza means owl in Spanish. However, they can't stay in the form of an owl or a bird forever and unfortunately look like your worst nightmare. But with these disguises, they can sneak up on anyone, bewitching them or killing them right then and there. It's become a common practice to tell children about La Lechuza so they don't go out at night alone. Supposedly, someone did catch La Lechuza, and after a couple of days, the owl started looking less like an owl and started looking more like a human woman. And voila, La Lechuza! Yes, this monster is extremely underrated.
It was vibing out, bro.
We were going to New Mexico to talk about El Lobizón, the Wolfman. So in New Mexico, there's a city called Raton, otherwise known as Rat. And it got its name because when the settlers moved in, there were a lot of freaking rats. And eventually they exterminated all the rats. But that's when their real problem began. Something very big started digging up bodies at the cemetery and eating them. So the citizens poured concrete over the coffins. But then something started eating the farm animals. So they built bigger fences and started keeping guard stations to protect the animals. And then one night, something broke into someone's home and ate an entire family. And throughout this whole time, people had seen this monster. They had initially thought it was just a giant rat. But then one day, someone saw it stand up on its hind legs and talk to itself. And because it was only ever spotted at night and never during the day, they called it El Lobizón, the Wolfman. And I know, it's not a wolfman, it's a rat man, but whatever. And surprisingly, actually stronger than a werewolf. Someone saw it decapitate a bear with one swing of its claw. Someone else saw it pick up a grown horse and carry it off. Its teeth are sharp enough to chew through solid rock, and it's bulletproof. And if you're waiting for me to say how it was defeated, keep waiting, because it wasn't. Never found it, never killed it, still alive today. Welcome to Latin America. We don't have happy endings in our folk tales. Have a magical day, everyone.
This family from the Wolfman, like I said, I was not no damn Wolfman. I was the Rat Man, bro. Rat Man origins, and they said it's still going to this day. It could still be out there, man. Who knows?
Mexico was able to record this terrifying video of this girl after she was acting extremely strange. This was after the family did some research. They found out the girl was playing the Ouija board. Here is the video. Pay close attention.
Stay away from that Ouija board, y'all.
Simón, ¿le bajas al baño,
She in the bathroom? Okay, they was out, man. They just saw her stand with a blank face like that. The whole family freaked out and just left her. What the heck? I'm trying to tell you, man, that Ouija board, man, that's just like bringing weird energy, weird vibes into your life, man. That's why I stay away from those type of board games. Nope. The most I've ever seen it, man, is when I be watching these clips together with you guys and people be playing it. That's the closest I'll ever get to, I guess, to officially, man, to being even close near to that game. Stay away.
Scariest folklore from around the world. Part 2. The Charro Negro is a tall, elegant man who wears an all-black suit who wanders the streets of Mexico and local cemeteries. The Charro appears at dusk in streets and lonely sidewalks, always looking for a pedestrian to whom to offer gold coins, which he takes out of a small bag that he always carries around his waist.
Many say he is the ghost of a rich rancher, while others say he is the devil himself.
Version folklore from that. So that was the different version.
Cases. Oh my gosh, bro. Why do you always bring up the cases, bro? This happened in Mexico too. Oh, this happens in Mexico. Yeah, bro. There's this kindergarten class who, on every Monday, they would go outside and march for the flag, the national anthem and stuff like that, for the Mexican flag. And they would do it in the street. And the reason why they would do it in the street is because their school or their class doesn't have a patio for them to do it at, so they have to do it on the street. And they do have permission to do it there too. There was this one time in 2002, regular routine of them marching outside for the flag. A guy shows up, who also happens to be a neighbor for the class in school or whatever. So he pulls up and he's annoyed because they're blocking the street. He was either coming back from work or he was on his way to go to work. He was telling the teacher, it's either you move or I'm gonna kill you. He goes back in his car, he backs up, and then he just presses on the gas. He runs over the principal, a teacher, a parent, and 20 children, killing 2 children between the ages of 4 and 5. There was people outside recording the event. Cuts to like the interviews of like the parents and stuff like that. I do remember seeing a parent say how they have a permit and there's room for him to go around. So I don't know what was the point of him doing that. And they also had interviewed him too. It seemed like he had no remorse over the whole situation. He was kind of blaming the teacher, saying like it's the teacher's fault this happened. It just makes it worse the fact that he had space and the whole shit could have been avoided. He didn't have to do all that shit. He didn't have to kill anybody. He didn't have to injure anybody, bro.
You just spitting facts at the end, man. I was just.
I looked at the wall. See G right there. El Jalisco Nueva. I don't want to say that too loud, but it stands for that right there, right? They had it all tagged up, my boy. They had it all on the wall, all tagged up. And I was like, fool, in my head, I was like, imagine what these fools that own the building feel like. They're like, fool, if we erase this, we just made instant ops. And so that tagging right there, fool, he has to leave it. He don't have no other option, fool. You erase that, fool, you just made enemies. Now, if he keeps it, the enemy ops can come and be like, oh, who owns this? Boom. Now, all of a sudden, you got ops no matter what now. These fools gave you ops. They gave you ops. They handed them to you. You say, here. You didn't want them, but here, now you have them, my boy. So that picture right there, showing the stuff, my boy, that goes down over here. This is stuff that's impreventable. Stuff that, my boy, that I wish was different, but I can't change it, fool. I can't change it.
Man, instant ops? That's a different type of beef, man. Like you said, if you erase the mark, I guess, off his building, then that would mean, oh, you don't mess with them, so they're going to come after you. But if you leave it up, then they ops are going to become your ops. So it's like you're in a no-win situation. So your beef is now their beef. That's what, like, with the Jake and Kendrick beef, man. It's like everybody had to pick a side. There was no on the fence to be like, oh, I want to say out of their nose, like, either you're on the Kendrick side or Drake's side. You got to pick. It was no in between.
The terrifying story of Devani Escobar. Devani was an 18-year-old law student in Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. On April 8, 2022, Devani attended a party at the Quinta Diamante in General Escobedo with 2 friends. Her friends reported Devani acting very strange throughout the whole night, up to the point that around 3 a.m., the friends called a taxi to take her home. According to the taxi driver, Devani was asking very strange questions and was very angry. But it is rumored that the driver was paid by the 2 friends to take Devani to a different location. When Devani was aware of this, she decided to step out of the car abruptly. The driver wasn't able to get her back inside the car, so he ended up taking a photo of her. This image became viral in the internet. This photo shows Devani standing alone on a highway going to Villa Nuevo Laredo. After this, security cameras show Devani going to Alcosa. This is a transportation company in Mexico. She went there around 4:30 asking for help, but the location was closed. Another camera later recorded her walking to Nueva Castilla Motel. It is here that the 18-year-old never came back out. 13 days later, the body of Devani Escobar was found in the water tank of the hotel. After a second analysis of the body by Escobar's father, revealed the body had sexual and physical abuse. The cause of her death was deep cranial contusion.
This is a sad case, man.
My dad had said that one time it was late. It was like on a Friday night. He said he went
Right after school, he went to church because he had like service and everything. And the church from the house is not that far. It's probably like less than 10 minutes away. He walks out of the church and he's walking. He feels like a presence looking at him. So he's looking around. There's no one outside. Everyone's still inside the service. And he starts hearing something. He's like, "Bro, what is that?" He said he looked up and there was a black shadow just following him.
Whoa. On the roof.
Kind of like Jeepers Creepers type stuff.
Oh.
Like following him. He was like, "Oh heck no!" He said he ran all the way to the house. He started knocking on the door. He's like, "Let me in, let me in, let me in." And he said he just got in the house. I swear something was following me. He said that. He just looked up and it was like a black shadow, like Jeepers Creepers type stuff.
But I remember in the documentary, a lot of the old folks that we interviewed, they said back in the day there was no light. Like they have now like street light, but they said back in the day it was super pitch black. And I remember they're saying that a lot of the stuff they saw was in pure fucking darkness. And I can picture your dad looking up and seeing that shit in the fucking darkness and running home.
Is his mom playing tricks on him, man? It's pure darkness. They couldn't see anything, so that's a possibility. That one sounded crazy. Not gonna lie to y'all. Seekers, you guys made it to the end with me, man. If you guys are true seekers, thank you guys, man. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Comment down below. Also, hit that post notification button, man, so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.